everybody, and welcome to a beautiful sunny afternoon in the Mile High City. What could make it better? How about a Rockies victory and a series win over the Padres? Colorado can do exactly that this afternoon. Everybody, welcome inside Coors Field. Tom Helmer alongside Jeff Houston and Mark Stout. One of the big topics over, I'd say, the last 6 weeks has been the inconsistency of the Rockies offense. If you look at that offense over the past 7 days, they've been significantly better. A 304 average, which is best in the National League, and they've scored 42 runs, third best in the National League.
It's nice to see the offense come alive at home. You've been waiting for it, kept saying it's got to happen, it's got to happen. If this team has a chance to win and keep gaining ground, the offense, you can't rely on the pitching and the defense all the time.
Matt Latos will be on the hill for the Padres, and I don't always point out the title of a board, but I love this one. Better Latos than never. And it seems since May 15th, when coincidentally he faced the Rockies, turned things around.
Yep, that was his first win of the season. He made his first start ever against Colorado back in '09. He started the year on the DL with a right shoulder strain. And I think it's kind of taken him that amount of time just to kind of get right, Jeff, and get back into the groove. And he had a groove last year.
Well, that's why he won 14 ball games last year. But the groove is now getting the fastball back, where it's sitting at 92 to 94, and he will touch 95, 96. And that's the key for him to get to the big curveball, to get to the sliders and all the changeups that he likes to throw. The key for the Rockies today, offensively, is lay off the high fastball. The one coming out of the hand that looks beautiful to hit, and you don't catch up to it.
Got to be careful.
You got to watch that one.
Got to watch that one. We're going to take another break here from Coors Field. When we come back, we're going to get you upstairs with Drew Goodman and George Frazier as they talk about today's starting pitcher for the Rockies, Jhoulys Chacin. Warm-up pitches as the Rockies get set to tangle with the Padres. It's been a great start to the month of June for Chacin, who's proven himself to be the anchor of this starting rotation. Welcome back inside Coors Field. I'm Tom Helmer. Right now, let's get you upstairs with the two guys who'll be calling today's action, Drew Goodman and George Frazier. Guys?
Well, Tom, you're absolutely right. Obviously, with Ubaldo Jimenez faltering at times this year and kind of going through a roller coaster ride. Jorge De La Rosa's down, as we all know, for a calendar year with the elbow injury. It has been Yoli Chacin, and boy, has he ever stepped forward.
Well, he's just been consistent the entire year. You look all the way up and down his starts. They've been very consistent. It gives an opportunity for his ball club to win. He's tied for 7th in the National League right now. The ERA of 290 at 7th. That's pretty amazing. There's 6 other guys better than 290. So everything about him, what he has been able to accomplish for me is he's put his spotlight on this ball club as a starting pitcher, but he's also brought a national spotlight to him, and there is a push by certain people that he gets on the National League All-Star team. And if he continues to do this for another 3 or 4 starts prior to that, I wouldn't see why he couldn't get on it.
Yeah, he's been special. You know what I really like about him, George? He's 23. He's tough. He's old school in a lot of ways.
Well, he learned how to deal with a little bit of adversity at the AA level. He was brought up here, got kicked around a little bit, went back to AAA, and dominated in a very difficult league to pitch in, the PCL.
So Yoli Chacin in a very good matchup with Matt Latos today. The Rockies trying to win the rubber ball game against the Padres. Colorado, San Diego coming back to Coors Field on a gorgeous afternoon.
By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By the Ford Mustang, the all-legend zero-compromise thrill machine. Ford Mustang, drive one. By the new Quest 5-year price lock promise. Visit quest.com/promise for details. By Sonic, America's drive-in. It's new, it's better, it's the new Sonic Good. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates.
Great summer day in the Mile High City. A little afternoon baseball. A little afternoon kayaking also. Uh-oh, that got flipped upside down. Here's Yoli Chacin making his way to the Coors Field mound as the Rockies will take on the Padres before a day off tomorrow, and then they'll welcome in the Detroit Tigers. The Padres are heading to Minneapolis. They'll take on Tavis Strand's Minnesota Twins. Tavis, our producer, a native of Minneapolis. Kristen Orfia will lead things off this afternoon. Southwest batting order, as written out earlier by Bud Black. Jason Bartlett again in the 2-hole. Chase Headley will bat third. Ryan Ludwig, then Anthony Rizzo.
Cameron Maben had a couple of doubles yesterday. Alberto Gonzalez slides up one spot. Rob Johnson will do the catching today for Nick Hundley. And Matt Latos is on the hill. Now, we showed you all the gorgeous numbers for Yoli Chassin. The league hitting just 199 against him, second best to Tommy Hanson of Atlanta. At home, George, it's even better. They're hitting 188 against him.
Yeah, a lot better in this ballpark where he's pitched pretty good at home. And it's 3-3 record, but 257 earned run average, 4-1 on the road with a 350 earned run average. Not a lot of run support at home. Now, he has faced the Padres back on May 14th. And in that ball game, 6 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, only 3 of those earned, 6 strikeouts through 105 pitches. There's a couple of errors, and he was the guy that committed them against the Padres in that ball game.
Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively. Much the same as we have seen. The only change from last night, Spilborg's got the start against LeBlanc, the left-hander. Smith's out there in right field. Wigginton, Tulowitzki, Herrera at second. Melton at first, and Morales is behind the plate. Day game after a night game. Pretty typical. You'll go with your number 2 catcher. First pitch from Chassin is inside, ball 1 on Chris Denorfia, who led off the ball game last night with a home run. Padres led 2-0. Rockies came from behind to get the victory, which is good to see, George, because a lot of teams don't come from behind when the Padres get out front.
That is true. They've played more one-run games than anybody in baseball right now, and they've had a 20-22 record against that in one-run ball games. Something the Padres, when they score first, doesn't happen often, but when they do, they typically win that ball game. 17-5 overall record.
I mean, it's amazing. And again, one of those losses handed to him last night. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Denorfia. This is where Chassin is most difficult. And this is chopped slowly to third, foul. And Denorfia will have to return. Venezuelan native Yoli Chassin, youngest member of the Rockies rotation at 23. Talking to Troy Tulowitzki about him earlier. He loves playing behind him. Obviously, you're going to get a lot of work as an infielder. More than 70% of the balls in play are on the ground. And he just likes how tough he is.
Well, like a lot of young Latin players, they strike out a lot of people at the minor league level. They come to the big leagues. A lot of guys don't have that same success. They get knocked around a little bit. They have a tough time adjusting. And that's what I talked about in the open. Chassin went back to AAA and adjusted a few things, dominated in the PCL. When he came back here, he recognized throwing to contact, getting outs is an out. Doesn't have to be a strikeout, minimize pitches, work deep into ball games.
Another 1-2 pitch to Denorfia, and that just missed. 2-2. Good curveball. Tony Randazzo is calling balls and strikes, veteran umpire. Larry Vanover's at first. Brian Gorman's the crew chief. He's at second. Dan Bellino is at third. And he got him on a hard-breaking ball away. That's those wipeout secondary pitches, the term that Jim Tracy likes to use to describe the other pitches other than the fastball that Chassin possesses.
Well, it appears to be a fastball to a hitter on that outside corner, and they try to pick up rotation. You can see there's no red dot, so that makes it even harder for a hitter. It's the grip he uses on the slider, and then that late break off of it. He's just trying to fight to keep the bat alive, and was not able to do it.
Jason Bartlett, that catches the inside corner at 92. Bartlett, you can tell by that reaction, didn't think much of the call.
Yeah, he's probably thinking if he's going to get that all day, we're going to have a long day coming out of this dugout.
That, or I hope our guy gets that, right? You can see the pitch was in the forward strike zone. And this ball is lined to left field, and it's going to be fielded there by Blackman. Bartlett will have a double.
I don't think necessarily hit that hard, but it seemed to die out there in left field. Charlie playing it straight up left, had a long run.
More toward the end of the bat, George. Off the bat, initially you thought it was hit better than actually it was.
Charlie's got a circle, come back to the baseball, and fooled by the pitch, but got out early and able to make solid contact and end up at second base.
7-game hitting streak now for Bartlett. Pitch misses in on Chase Headley. Headley had 4 hits last night, 4 singles. This is not a team that's going to hit the ball over the wall frequently. Headley, their everyday 3-hole hitter, has just 2 home runs. In fact, between his first and second home runs, he had gone 196 at bats. 2-0. In today's game, we are participating in the Home Run Challenge, where every home run raises $19,000 for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge by calling 800-798-CURE or by going online to pcf.org. pcf.org. Two-one, good pitch, 2-2. Chacín's a strong guy. I mean, he's a stocky guy, but usually when we use the term stocky, you think of, somebody, 5'8", 5'9". He's over 6'2", close to 6'3". Two-two to Headley, and he strikes him out. Second punch out of the inning, and that'll bring up Ludwig.
Trying to bust that hard slider back foot. It's more in the middle of the plate, but it's a great location to left-handed hitters. Very difficult for them to hit solidly in fair territory.
So Ludwig steps up. Career .367 hitter in this ballpark. Off the corner, ball 1. The highest ever, here's a name we haven't mentioned on the air in a while. With a .468 average, Wally Joyner had the highest career average among a visiting player. BYU product. He played with Kevin Towers, I think, at BYU.
Played with him there, and of course San Francisco now works a little bit in broadcasting, but more for a special assistant to Brian Sabian in the ball club.
He could hit.
Pretty good first baseman.
He had a nice career. And there are the numbers for Ludwig here at Coors Field. Bartlett, a 1-out double. He's at second now with 2 outs. And that misses in. 2-0. Ludwig last night, 1 for 5 and an RBI. He had 2 RBIs in the first ball game on Monday. 2-0. 2-1.
They've been able to handle Ludwig because the fastballs of what he hit to drive in, sacrifice flies both deep to right field to drive in runs. Since that time and last night, Nicasio did a great job with him. He struck him out with a couple of guys on base, 1 run already in. He ended up striking out 3 times last night, all on off-speed pitches.
$18 pitches into this first inning, 3-1 on Ryan Ludwig. And Morales goes to the outside corner. It misses, ball 4.
Another slider too, and exactly what they did with him last night. Put him a lot of off-speed pitches behind in the count. He offered today, doesn't he?
That'll bring up Anthony Rizzo.
He's having a little bit of those struggles as a young player at the big league level. Started out red hot with a home run and RBI. Hey, this game's going to be easy. A week later, you're hitting a .176, trying to make adjustments and figure things out.
Yeah, he's hitless in the series, 0 for 7. He does have a couple of walks.
Hitters and pitchers had more success as young players 10 to 15 years ago. Now with the inventions of all the video work that's out there. They can figure out where holes are, how they get you out, visit those holes a lot.
Talking to Charlie Blackmon about that. He's in the same situation as Rizzo, and he said, you know, it's not even series to series. To your point, George, that misses. It's in-game adjustments.
Well, one thing Charlie's got going for him, obviously he can lay a bunt down and use his speed there. He's a line drive. He does have power, but the expectations on Charlie Blackmon have not been what they are on Rizzo. Rizzo was the guy that was going to come replace Adrian Gonzalez based on what he had done in AAA Tucson, where he hit 350, had driven in 60 runs. Everybody expected that here. Not to say it won't happen for him. He's just going to go through a rough period with some adjustments.
Chacin has given up only 1 run in his last 14 innings, coming off that gem against the Dodgers. 8 shutout innings to allow just 3 singles. 2-1 with 2 aboard here in the first inning. You got Matt Latos for the Padres, who's stingy typically in giving up runs. Got to put this inning down. In the air to left field. Blackmon will have a routine play.
So 2 are left.
And we'll see the Rockies on offense when we come back. We had the delay the other night, but we're going to forget about that. Other than that little delay.
Keep bringing up that rainstorm you said wasn't going to happen.
Well, that was Doug who was bringing that up.
High
Carlos Gonzalez will lead things off for the Rockies. And here's the 8 that will follow on our Southwest Airlines batting order, as presented earlier by Jim Tracy. Jonathan Herrero bats second. Helton the 3-hole. Tulowitzki behind him naturally. Seth Smith back in there. He'll bat 5th with a .309 batting average. Ty Wigginton's been hitting it hard. Charlie Blackmon at .290. And Morales to be followed by Chacin. Matt Latos went through a rough period from the end of last year through the first part of this year, and he's kind of turned it around, George.
There's no question. Made his major league debut against the Rockies on July 19th, 1909 at Petco Park.
12 1909.
Starts.
That was
1909. Sorry about that. 2009. That was a long time ago. He aged well, though.
Yeah, he's amazingly fit.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Pitching more with his
102 and got a heater that's pretty good.
He's pitching more with that heater, though.
Well, he needs to, and that's one thing he had was fastball command. Now, you know, this is a club, as we've all talked about through this series, that does not score a lot of runs.
Well, this has got a chance if it gets a little bit of wind behind it. Evidently not. It's going to be a high fly ball to deep right field. Off the bat, we thought Cargo may have gotten that one. So he's retired. That'll bring up Johnny Herrera. Defensively, it's Ryan Ludwig and Cameron Maben, along with Kristen Norfia in the outfield. Headley, along with Jason Bartlett on the left side, Alberto Gonzalez and Anthony Rizzo on the right side, Rob Johnson behind the plate.
Well, how about this? He has 7 losses on the year, talking about Matt Latos, right? 7 losses. In the 7 losses, he's received a combined 8 runs of support, including no runs in 3 of those starts. So obviously he's pitched a whole lot better than his record indicates. He's just not gotten a lot of help from his teammates.
1 ball, 1 strike on Jonathan Herrera. Johnny trying to extract himself from an 0 for 18 slide. And not going to happen here. When the Rockies score 7 or more during any game, you know the drill. Go to Taco Bell the next day to get your Rockies taco special. Do it between 4 and 6 in the afternoon. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell.
I like those.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Why don't we get some of those with Root Sports on?
It's
You'd
busy.
look good in that.
It's busy.
Not busy. It's got Rockies, the Coors Field, the baseball diamond. Great stuff on there.
Well, they worry about those things on camera, George. You know, it makes the camera jump
We've got
all
the
over
best
the place.
high home camera person in the business. He'll make it look right.
All right, we'll go with those shirts next week.
Sam, that's 20.
Here's the 1-0 to Helt. Breaking ball dropped in there.
Well, Latos really likes the daytime. He's got 4 wins this year, 3 of them coming with the lights out. He has a 1.90 ERA.
Elton 1 for 7. That one was a home run against Latos. And that catches the outside corner. 2-2. That was a changeup.
Yeah, one of those pitches, obviously, that misses the zone, gets called a strike.
And Todd pounces foul. Elton was 2 for 5 with a ribby last night. Hit the ball hard on 2 other occasions. And he got him with a curveball away. So a strong start for Matt Latos. 1-2-3 through the Rockies in the first. No score as we go to the second. As we check in with Alana Rizzo. Alana.
Hey guys, how are you doing? I'm right behind you. Actually, I'm right below you. You can't. There you are. Hi guys. Wanted to tell you that the Rockies signed 13 of their overall 51 draft picks from the 2011 draft last week. Their highest pick, well, that was infielder Harold Riggins. He was selected in the 7th round out of North Carolina State University. Overall, as you can see on your screen, the Rockies signed 6 pitchers, 5 infielders, 1 outfielder, and 1 catcher. Now, 7 will head to Casper, while the other 6 will start their professional career in Tri-City, guys.
And that's just the first wave, Alana. Thank you very much. And there'll be others that signed from that draft class. Certainly takes usually a little bit longer, George, with the guys drafted near the top.
Well, because of all the slot money and negotiations going on that they're really going to enforce, meaning that there's a set price, folks, for where you're drafted, what round you're drafted in, that the commissioner oversees. And a lot of teams don't follow that, obviously. They have to get permission to be able to give out a lot of money, as they did for Bryce Harper, Steven Strasburg, guys in that type of category. So
and the Rockies
went
over slot for Matzik.
So now you sit and battle those issues, and I think some guys as players are going to hold out the August 15th deadline at midnight. Of course, agents are saying you got all summer, don't worry about it. We'll start it when we start it. So yeah, that delays a lot of that with a lot of different round picks. Bill Smith and Dick Mumford, the one that says or to Bill Smith. That's right.
2-2 on Cameron Maben, and he's gone. Strike 3 on the inside corner, and his strikeout number 3 already for Chacin. Let's look at his work against the Dodgers, George. It was a gorgeous performance.
Yeah, it really was by Elise. He handled the fastball extremely well, I thought, in that start, with a tremendous amount of movement. He's had the slider, just 3 hits, 9 strikeouts. Over that 8-inning body of work, he had 3 walks, so it's pretty good when you only put 6 guys on and you punch out 9 of them.
Alberto Gonzalez at the plate, takes ball 1. Gonzalez, with Orlando Hudson out, has kind of put his foot down of late at second base, but it's been a troublesome position for Bud Black in that 6 different players have made a start at second base. Really not unlike the Rockies.
Hey, I'm sitting here trying to think. Who was the last guy that played a full year? Was it Giles' brother? Came over from Atlanta, was the last guy that made a complete year. Marcus Giles. I mean, I'm trying to think of a second baseman they had that was there the entire year, and it was his position. I mean, it's been a long time, much like, as you mentioned, the Rockies. I mean, it's a position they've tried to fill with numerous guys. Last year, Clint Parmas held it down for majority of the year with Tulowitzki at shortstop. Clint now the starting shortstop with the Houston Astros.
2-2.
Man, oh man, Philly's all over Florida. It's 8-1 already, 8th inning.
Florida's hurting in a bad way, and they got horrible news today. Josh Johnson was transferred to the 60-day DL with the shoulder inflammation.
Shoulder did not respond well to treatment to try to get it back, and so take the time with it. And with that type of a pitcher, you're not going to try to rush anything. The injections and therapy didn't work, so you go to the other direction. Jimmy Rollins hit a grand slam in that ball game, by the way, his 32nd of his career. I just threw that out there, Doug, to see you look. I had better look at it, Drew.
It's not his 32nd. Nowhere close. Jim Tracy, our Geico quote of the day on Yoli Chacin being an all-star. It's not my decision to make, but if you're asking me, do I think he's worthy of consideration? How could you say no to that with what he's done? Some of the numbers we shared with you earlier. And for me, I talked about the all-star game this time of year, and it'll start to ratchet up the conversations and the votes and who's worthy and who perhaps is not. I usually really reserve judgment until the end of June, right, toward the end of June, because it's based on what you've done for 3 months. And there's some guys who can still make a strong case who maybe are borderline right now over the next 8-10 days.
I think one thing that does help the Rockies for our reserves and pitchers is what having Bruce Bochy, who sees them an awful lot, and make some of those decisions.
Punch out, 2 ground balls. 1-2-3 second for Yolis. Tulowitzki will lead it off for the Rockies in the second. Drew Goodman. Hope you have sunscreen on today. You're going to need it. Not a cloud in the sky. Temperature's supposed to hit the upper 80s this afternoon. Well, Toyota Talk will come your way in the 6th inning, and we're going to continue our conversations about DH with the Tigers coming in on Friday. Would you like to see a change of the rules in interleague play? In other words, the DH used in National League parks and in American League parks, you have to play under National League rules. What would you think of that? Or do you prefer the way it is right now? National League parks, you play National League rules. American League parks, you play American League rules. Here's Tulowitzki and Matt Latos. Troy's 0 for 8 in his career against Latos.
He's got a good slider working today. He struck out Helton with it, but it's more of a straight down break than a 3/4 type break away from the hitter.
He went right back to it. And again, he took a little speed off of. You're right, George. It's sometimes hard to differentiate his curveball and his slider.
Well, you got to look at velocity and check that. His slider will be 82, 85. The curveball 70 to 75 to 80.
1-1 on Troy, and this ball is driven to center field and deep. Maben going back, and it is off the wall. And Tulowitzki's got to hustle, and he'll get in standing up as Maben fired it in close to the bag. A leadoff double, first career hit for Tulowitzki against Matt Latos. That thing was hammered.
Went to a fastball after 2 off-speed pitches away and let Troy extend his arms. Typically a very good high ball hitter. This pitch is down in the strike zone. Tulowitzki's body drops and gets the leg drive from behind the baseball. It sends it out into left field. I thought Maben played it pretty good off the wall. He did the glove versus bare hand and then made a nice strong throw into second base.
So that'll bring up Seth Smith. Hitting .385 on the homestand, a home run and 5 RBIs. Had the entire night off last night. And this is in the air to shallow left field. And coming on as Ludwig.
I saw all 3 of his catches about 25 times this morning.
Yeah, you and I both, and a lot of others. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. 2 people will become millionaires in the July 1st bonus millionaire raffle drawing. Buy your tickets today. The work of Ty Wigginton last night. He had an RBI single. And he also added a double in his next at bat. 2 for 3 and a walk last night for Wigginton. The one time they got him out, Ryan Ludwig had to make a catch on another searing line drive. Outside ball 1 on Wigginton. He's driven in 4 on the homestand. Gonzalez trying to keep Tulowitzki close to the bag at second. And this is looped foul out of play. Latos' first win of the year came here at Coors Field on May 15th. He held the Rockies to 2 runs, 1 earned on 4 hits over 5 2/3. He was 0-5 in his first 6 starts of the year. This ball hard on the ground. Tulowitzki crossed it front. That's a no-no. And Troy must have gotten a bad read. Thought that was going through the hole. That's just flat out bad base running there. 2 outs.
Well, no question about it. I mean, the ball's hit right in front of you. It's hit hard. Tulowitzki with a little bit of a lead here. I'm not sure why he thought about going in that situation. Just took off, no man's land, out, go to the dugout. It's not a conversation Jim Tracy will have to have with Tulowitzki. He knows that was not the correct play.
2 outs. Charlie Blackmon at the plate. Charlie continues to impress. And he hits a fly ball to center field. Maben waiting. And And the Rockies don't get anything done with the leadoff double by Tulowitzki. So we move to the third inning. No score. On Root Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota moving forward by AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. By the Colorado Lottery, don't forget to play. And by King Soopers, move value for the way you live. Beautiful day, still some snow up in the high country. Bay Basin still open, George?
Absolutely. Went down it yesterday. It's called the party at the beach. You know, you wear your Speedo and head on some skis and get going.
Hey, you know what? You know more about this than I thought. They actually do some of that.
Not me.
1 ball, 1 strike on Matt Latos leading off here the third inning. We're going to have Joe Torre in a few moments, Executive Vice President of Operations for Major League Baseball.
By the way, that's on weekends only, Drew. So Sunday after the game, I know you'll be in Omaha playing in the youth tournament, doing all that stuff with the family. Great deal. I'm not going to go.
I'm not going to be playing.
I'm not going to go. I'm not going. I went last weekend.
I'd love to see you on skis.
You'll never see me on skis.
That would be a treat.
That ain't happening.
2-1, and Latos, a soft fly drive. Johnny did not catch that in the air, and Latos, who's hunting an infield hit, he turned it up. Nice play by Johnny to hang in there and throw out Latos by less than a stride.
Yeah, this one is playing up the middle too, but it's kind of one of sinking line drives. Johnny able to get to the feet and then make that snap throw over to help. Latos has been a pretty good hitter through his career. He does have a home run this year.
That's actually his only hit. Go deep or go home, right?
Absolutely. Make a left turn or make a soft trot.
Chris Denorfia struck out after a lengthy at bat beginning the ball game. He's at 303. That's the highest average of any player on the Padres. Concourse busy today. Good eats. Get yourself a cold drink.
A lot of great things out there. I love going out there for the pre and post game show, visit with a lot of the fans, and watch the Rockies on Root Sports when they're not here at the ballpark. They have an opinion, just ask them. Sometimes you don't have to ask and they give it to you. Man, what a great crowd. Wednesday afternoon, it's beautiful.
Tulowitzki and Herrera, and it'll be Troy.
Well, you know what? If you like the ballpark so that much, you only get to walk on a concourse, sit in a seat. Well, how about take a tour of this place? It is beautiful. Available Monday through Saturday. Group and individual tickets, they're available. And you'll get to go to some spots you never would when you buy a ticket.
Two outs, Jason Bartlett, who doubled his first time up. Have a looping liner off the end of the bat down the left field line.
Tell you what, he's done some damage with the Rockies. He got 302 lifetime average in 11 ball games against the Rockies.
Can I tell you quickly what just went through his mind? He goes, my ribs are still sore from yesterday, and Chacin went in there again.
Yeah, he sure did. Yesterday, I thought he might have come out of the ball game yesterday because he caught it pretty good.
Down low 2-0. Last night against Juan Nicasio, he got 96 miles an hour in his rib cage.
And not intentional. See how far back Chris is trying to go. That will crumple you. That's like a rib shot from Mike Tyson. That's no fun.
Fortunately, Bartlett was able to continue, and that's a strike. 2-1. Tell you what, that flap went down, George. That left arm went down to protect the wounded area when Chacin came in on him on pitch number 1.
I think he went and practiced on how to take a shot in the rib cage. Tough guy, though. He's former Sooner. Did you know that? Went to University of Oklahoma. Outstanding player there.
There's a lot of them out there.
There's a few of them. There sure is. Larry Cosell, the coach there for a number of years, and did such a wonderful job. Won a national title there. Sonny Galloway's taken over now.
3-2. All right, off the top of your head, who's the greatest Sooner of all time in baseball?
That's a good question.
Well, I asked it.
Dale Mitchell was pretty good.
Yeah.
For a long time.
A lot of good players there. 3-2. Swung on and missed. Chacin has retired 7 in a row. He's got 4 punch outs. Middle of 3, no score. Customers, of which I'm one. Get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Not a customer, see a Wells Fargo banker today for details. Stepping up, Jose Morales to lead off the 3rd inning.
Keith Drumright's another guy that played there at Oklahoma, 4-time All-American, played a couple of years in the big leagues. Danny Jackson, Bobby Witt.
Talking about those ex-Sooners.
Yeah, Greg Norton played here with the Colorado Rockies.
Norton had a long career. Bobby Witt won a bunch of ball games. Keith Drumright, you went to high school with Drumright.
And another guy there, Kelly Snyder, was I think 1- or 2-time All-American, played first base in the Dodger organization, went over to the Twins. Joe Simpson, another broadcaster in the big leagues, went to Oklahoma, played Seattle in the big leagues for a while, Kansas City.
Well, we have a special guest. We told you a short while ago that Joe Torre was going to be with us. Joe, you have a really long title, Vice President of
Executive Vice President.
I don't want to forget that part.
Executive.
Shame on me. You know, you were nice enough to have us up to the office. This is a slice to left field and a base hit for Morales. You were nice enough to have us up to those great digs on Park Avenue. I want to make sure we get another invitation. So it is executive. You want to make a senior executive vice president?
No. Executive vice president. And when I had a meeting and the commissioner was listening, I said the executive part means that you don't have to work very hard. And he says, excuse me?
So that's how you got that gig, huh?
Yeah.
Very good. Joe, good to see you, but we have to start with the injury because you didn't have this when we saw you a month or so ago.
I'm planning a comeback. I had rotator cuff surgery a week ago, and this is so people don't pat you on the back, when they see you in the sling.
So I've seen a little too fine with that bunt.
Don't BP to your daughter or something.
Well, yeah, I do some of that, plus a little tennis with my wife, but the biggest issue for me, I couldn't hang up clothes. I was in problem.
You're bi-coastal right now, aren't you?
I am. I'm still my home is still in Los Angeles, but I spent great deal of time in New York, and it's really, Drew, it's really an interesting job I have. It's baseball, and you never want to forget what it was like to play and what it was like to manage, and hopefully make fair decisions when you get the opportunity.
Here's the one-strike pitch to Chassis, and he pulled the bunt back. So,
hey, you were pretty good when you played. Do you know that?
Well, I have to pick up a press guide every once in a while.
Let me help you out. All right, 18 seasons.
Here we go.
297, MVP in 71. You only hit 363. Did you beat the league by like 70 points or something?
No infield hits.
No leg hits that year, Joe.
9-time All-Star. You had some fun playing the game.
You're going to embarrass the executive vice president.
No, that's I want to hear more.
You want to hear more? All right, well, wait a second. Let's see. 1,185 RBIs. How come you didn't get 1,200? Did you get tired or something?
I don't know. I don't understand that.
When they put a bunch of slow guys couldn't score, they went base to base on you?
I was the slow guy.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing. Well, you only won 2,326 games as a manager, too. So that's pretty good. And how about this? I didn't realize this. Just look how you almost had as many wins as you did hits. That's amazing.
I didn't realize that either.
Think about that. 2,342 hits, 2,326 wins. That's awesome.
So I should have managed a little.
You should have managed. You should have managed another 2 months.
No,
you're done.
I'm done.
Did you see enough of this guy last year?
Oh, there's no question. There's no question. It looks like he's finally coming out of it too, right?
Yeah, for you now, you have to. I mean, you're following, both leagues. Is it hard to keep up with who's doing what, or is it?
You know what? You watch a lot of games. I mean, I'm watching a lot of games at home, plus whatever you don't see, because we always have to deal with incidents. Umpires throwing managers out or players out, and I get a lot of video, sent to me. So it's, it's a lot easier than I thought it would be as far as keeping track, because you're interested, and when you're at home, today, today's baseball, you can watch any game you want to watch, and it's it's great and it just so happens over the last 4 or 5 days, every time somebody got thrown out of a game, I was watching live. Yeah, live.
Here's the 2-0, and it's down low, 3-0 on Gonzalez. With your background, your distinguished background as a player, distinguished background as a manager, is it harder to, or maybe easier perhaps, to look and say, okay, you know what, Manny Acta, and we had the tete-a-tete the other day on the field. Can you step back and say, I understand where the emotions are in that spot, and I'm going to be a little bit more, here's a strike, 3-1, but maybe give him a little bit more leeway? Or can you not do that because you're representing all the fans and all the young people that follow the game?
Yeah, Drew, I'm just trying to be fair, and you're right. I do take into consideration being in that spot, what it felt like, what they're arguing about, and I do take all those things into consideration. The one thing I never wanted to get myself in a box about was the fact that I didn't want to say, I find this guy this much for this, so that means I have to do the same to this guy.
Well, if you don't like the guy, bust him.
Well, I can do that. See, personal feelings certainly enter in.
I would hope so.
Hey, Joe, one of the reasons that you're moving around baseball right now, one of the special reasons, it's that time of year, the home run challenge in Major League Baseball, and this hits home personally because I know you defeated prostate cancer back in 1999.
Well,
This ball is in the air to right field. It's a broken bat.
Yeah, Drew, when I was diagnosed in March of '99, it was a big black hole to me, and I was scared. And actually, the gentleman's right in the booth here with us, Mike Milken. He reached out and called me. I had never met Mike, and you know, straightened me out. You know, directed me to some doctors, and you know, the more information and the more you understand prostate cancer, the more you realize this is, you know, one of the cancers that early detection can, you know, save your life. And it's, you know, this is the first time I've had the pleasure of being able to go around with Mike and go from ballpark to ballpark just to raise the awareness, and the fact that, you know, with the home run challenge and all the money we've raised in order to fight, because the only way you're gonna cure cancer is through research, and that's what this money is all about.
And prostate cancer, and you prove that if detected early, and it could affect up to 1 in 6 males in their lives, it is something that can be eradicated.
Well, and the most important thing, you know, it messes with the man's libido. So a lot of guys are too proud to get checked. And you know, the fact that once I was diagnosed and came out, you know, I was managing the Yankees. There's no way I could hide from this thing. And when I had, you know, my press conference, I can't tell you how many people would come up to me, whisper in my ears, telling me this is what they had, or, you know, their dad had it. And I know I did some things when I was with the Yankees on Father's Day to get checked, and there are a lot of youngsters who have reached out to their dad, said, hey, Joe Torre, you know, said to get checked, so I want you to get checked. So, you know, when you realize how many people you touch and you know how important it is, and especially the fact that a blood test doesn't hurt, you can eradicate this, yes.
Johnny Herrera grounds out. Joe, do you have another half inning? I know you
do.
Around.
Yes,
that'd be great. Joe Torre will continue with us when we come back. We move to the 4th. No score. Matt Latos and Yoli Chassin hooking up. Game between the Rockies and Padres. No scores. We go to the 4th. Chase Headley will lead it off for San Diego. In today's ball game, we are participating in the Home Run Challenge, where every home run raises $19,000 for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge by calling 800-798-CURE. That's 800-798-CURE, or by going online to pcf.org. And Joe Torre continues with us, kind enough to join us, the Executive Vice President of Operations.
Now you got it.
Yep, Frazier tried to give him a demotion in the 1st inning. We'd have none of it. Chassin, ball 1 on Chase Headley.
You haven't had any bad incidents this year, though, with umpires and managers and stuff. You've had a couple of bumps and runs.
There have been a couple of testy ones. There have been, you know, I know Donnie was really funny. Donnie got thrown out for the first time. And he was waiting for the phone call. And I never.
You never called him?
Never called him.
Just sent him a piece of paper?
So then, yeah, that's all. He gets a little note. He gets a free autograph. So that works perfectly for him. But then when I will call to check in on him, he says, "What did I do wrong? What did I do?"
No.
But no, it's been okay. You know, the umpires. The only thing I encouraged umpires to do in the spring, George, is just to try to keep players in the game.
Yeah.
Try to keep players in the game, because players have to cooperate too. You know,
Absolutely.
You certainly don't want, you know, players going out of their way to get thrown out, because these fans come to watch the players play, and I don't think there's any question that the ideal thing would be to keep them in the game. And I think the umpires have really showed me that they're a lot more patient at this point in time.
What have you learned, being in this game for so long, what have you learned now that you have an office in Park Avenue that maybe you didn't realize in terms of how the whole thing has to run, being so close with the commissioner?
Well, you're looking at a different perspective. I just came, you know, last month from my first owners meeting, you know, and you see, you know, what's on the minds of the owners and how they think. You know, I was always on the other side of this thing, first as a player and then as a manager. And again, I'd like to think that I always felt that I didn't have to always win, you know, whether I was on the player's side or the owner's side, because I just felt that this game can survive with both parties being satisfied. So I think I'm going to enjoy it. The owners seem to be receptive to my new position, and you know, it's just a matter of taking care of the game, I guess, until you know, you pass it on to somebody else.
Joe, were you somebody, when you managed, and also going back to the playing days, when it was a particularly difficult loss, was it hard to get rest that night?
It was, especially if you were between making one decision or another. And then, you know, over time, you decided that instead of dwelling on something that can change, let's learn from it. And I remember one time Wade Boggs was on my bench when I was managing the Yankees, and it was a pinch hit situation, and Luis Sojo was the hitter. It was a right-hand pitcher, and I think the winning run was at third base, less than 2 out. And to me, it was a no-brainer. I said, you know, Wade, get up there and pinch hit for Luis Sojo. Well, he struck out on 3 pitches. You know, and then you looked at the stats, which I didn't even bother looking at, because I figured Wade Boggs, Hall of Famer. And, you know, Luis Sojo had great success against this particular pitcher. But more importantly, when I started thinking about it, Boggs has never really been a pinch hitter.
Yeah, never done it in his career.
He's used to playing every day, so it's not that easy coming off the bench.
Yeah.
So those types of things. But again, you learn and you take nothing for granted.
Is Don Mattingly learning that the game moves so much faster when you have to manage it, as opposed to when he gets to sit next to you, or certainly when you play?
That's a good question. There's really no safety net. You know, there were a lot of games last year. You know, he managed last spring. You know, I told him, you manage in the spring. You know, I'd be there and all that stuff. But I think once he was out on his own, he realized how many things go on at the same time, and the fact that you're there for your players all the time. He's going to be able to handle it. Very bright, not afraid to fail, all those very positive things, plus the fact that baseball's in his blood, and you know, this is the next best thing to being a regular player.
I'm laughing now because I remember having a conversation with you a couple of years ago after T.J. Simers, who is a character, as we all know, at the L.A. Times. He wrote in this town, but he writes page 2, and he has an interesting approach. He tries to be, in a good-natured way, I suppose, be an antagonist at times. And you always handled it great. I mean, you used the New York media. This is a line drive to center that Cargo lays out and makes the catch. Well done. So Ludwig is robbed of a base hit. That's pretty good. Center field.
He's a pretty good player.
Yeah.
All the way around, he's got about the prettiest swing in baseball. That's for sure.
But anyhow, so to get into the story, did you give him some tips on how to deal with TJ? Because I thought Donnie, we were out there recently, I thought he did a great job with him. He was trying to get his goat.
Well, you know TJ, and TJ, as long as you give it to him the way he gives it to you, because again, most of the time it's tongue in cheek, and he just tries to get get under your skin a little bit. as long as you have the sort of the good humor to do that, it works. And you know, I think there was only one incident where I didn't have enough sleep, I guess, because he came over and he just rubbed me the wrong way, and it caught TJ off guard, and he said, "Are you all right?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, I'm a little tired today. But yeah, I mean, the media have a job to do. I mean, and that's what you have to understand as a manager. That's part of your job. You think it's just
probably
writing
one of the biggest
lineup.
parts of your job.
Huge. And, you know, especially in New York when I was there, you know, every pre-game was like 45 minutes, and you don't satisfy anybody.
Right.
That's the trick here.
But I think, and I heard this from a lot of Yankee players, I heard this from people with the Yankees, being a former Yankee, and all of them said to me, you probably deferred the heat better than anybody had been there.
Well, that's my job.
You know, you took it off all the players and said, hey, bring it right here. Bring it to me.
And not only that, George, you know, you've been there as Steinbrenner, George Steinbrenner. You know, I felt my biggest job was to keep that distraction out of the clubhouse. And
that's not easy to do.
No, it wasn't easy to do, but I knew one thing, when you've got some issues, and first of all, playing is tough enough. When you have, you know, when you're distracted, then it's darn near impossible. So, you know, I just felt that I needed these players to know that I made the decisions, right, wrong, or indifferent, and I just needed for them to have that comfort zone.
Well, you're right for 4 World Championships. How about as fun as that, huh?
Yeah, I tell you, I 56 years old, my first opportunity, and it was unbelievable.
You know, Jim Tracy says it a lot, particularly around guys like you. He says, I want to be the manager that takes the uniform off on the last game of the year. I just want to do it once. You know, and I think they don't understand. I mean, I felt very fortunate, played 2 of them, that how many guys that are great players and guys that are great managers never get a chance to take that uniform off the last series of the season.
There's no question. I mean, look at Ernie Banks is the first guy that comes to mind for me. Don Mattingly. But it's an unbelievable feeling, and the fact that it never gets old. And trust me, there's always a period of depression that goes on after the season's over, because it's like falling off a cliff. It stops. And that's even when you win, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah.
Because all of a sudden the applause stops.
That's when you get home and she says it's time to mow the yard, trash needs to go out, and I'm going shopping, and you got the 4 kids.
You've got that right. I mean, there's a leveling out process that takes place on a regular basis. There's no question.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Anthony Rizzo.
And my wife told me we were shopping a few weeks ago, and she says, this is interesting. She said, Saturday afternoon during the season, and you're not stressed. I said, yeah. I said, this job's not too bad.
Not going to be stressed till you get to the counter. Then I'm going to get a little stressed.
You know what? Frazier needs some advice, Joe, because we're actually the Rockies are heading to New York, take on the Yankees about 10 days away, and Frazier's playing in an old timers game.
I'll be there.
You gonna be there?
I'll be there.
Yeah, but you got an operation to bail out. That's not right.
Well, I'll be telling you what to do.
Well, I'm going to have a lot of Celebrex, I can tell you that. I found that out in fantasy camp this last year. Now, it's going to be a great time. I'm really looking forward to coming back, because I think Whitey still comes, Yogi comes.
Yes, they do.
Guidry and the boys will be around. A lot of my ex-teammates.
Some of the guys you mentioned, Frazier, you're going to have to play shortstop.
Well, don't worry about a lot of range, because there isn't going to be any. I can tell you that. If they hit it to me, I'll throw a glove at it.
Just a little slow motion. That's
I like it.
My favorite line for George, Joe, is that he has not jogged since he came in from the bullpen in Game 4 of the '87 World Series.
Last time. Haven't had a reason to.
He's
haven't had a reason to. That's right.
Proud of that.
That's right. Yeah, you bet.
This gets away from Morales. Headley's going to move up 90 feet. 2 outs. Cameron Maben at the plate. I want to circle back, though, if we could, just for a moment, to the home run challenge. When somebody invariably comes up to you because you're such a public figure and says, you know what, I just got diagnosed with prostate cancer, what kind of words and encouragement do you give them?
Well, first off, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I mean, it's a cancer that, you know, certainly you have to pay attention to, but there is early detection. The fact that there is treatment, and there's more and more treatment since I was diagnosed, you know, 12 years ago. There's a whole lot more you can do to treat prostate cancer. I mean, I go every 3 or 4 months to get checked just to make sure I had an aggressive form of prostate cancer. I remember when I talked to the surgeon who eventually did the surgery on me, he says, "I'll have you back working in a couple of weeks." You know, once he said that to me, I think my blood pressure dropped a great deal. So I think it's just education really helps you a great deal, and the fact like Michael Milken continues to raise money for a very worthy cause.
Joe, always a pleasure to see you. Continued success, not only obviously with this endeavor, but throughout Major League Baseball.
Thank you. And by the way, you know, your state here is the healthiest one in the country.
So yeah, I'm trying to get him to run with me.
Air in the mountains.
Air in the mountains. A lot of work.
Just don't pinch run me, all right?
Smith, the Rockies have just 2 hits against Matt Latos. Once again in today's game, we are participating in the Home Run Challenge, where every home run raises $19 grand for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge by calling 800-798-CURE or go online to pcf.org. And Michael Milken just dropped a note off with us over the years, because this is an annual event to raise money for prostate cancer research in Major League Baseball. Through the years, the Rockies have hit 70 home runs since it started in '97 during the Home Run Challenge week. So the Rockies as an organization, the players by themselves have raised $1.75 million. Obviously, with all of your help out there with your pledges and donations through the years, but $1.7 million raised by the Rockies. That's a strike also. It's 2-2. And last year, 112 home runs hit during the 60 games, raising more than $2.3 million. So again, make your pledges, and we greatly appreciate it. And our thanks to Joe Torre for dropping by. This ball's popped up. Tell you what, that was not easy. A high sky and the sun's up there, and I think Gonzalez saw it a lot better than Rizzo did. Let's check in once again with Alana Rizzo with today's Fast Cash Sideline Report, brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Alana.
Hey guys, just wanted to talk a little bit more about Anthony Rizzo. I talked to Padres closer Heath Bell about him, and he said, you know what, he started calling Rizzo every 2 weeks after the end of spring training, just kind of checking in on him, seeing how he was doing. The reason being, as you guys were alluding to earlier, there's a lot of anticipation about this kid coming up to the big leagues. He was coming up to hopefully replace Adrian Gonzalez at first base. It's certainly a tall order to fill. Naturally, Brad Hopp back in right field for the Padres. Padres. He said, you know what, there's going to be a lot of hype. You might think that you're going to be called up early in the season. He said, don't expect it until about June or July. He said, I wanted to be realistic with him. I wanted to tell him, don't think you're going to be up here in April. It will happen for you. But a lot of hype surrounding this kid. He fell one of the only veterans in the Padres clubhouse. And George, you can probably speak to this too. When there's a guy that is highly anticipated, highly touted, he's probably thinking about getting the call every single day, and you still have to do your work in the minor leagues.
Well, you do. I mean, you know, you're going through that with a lot of different people. Heck, I'm going through it with my son now, who's pitched well 5 starts in a row. You know, you're disappointed you're not going to Tulsa, disappointed maybe some things aren't happening, and you still got to do your work. You still got to be able to prepare yourself. And, you know, the one thing I tell kids all the time, mine included, is, you know, you have Rockies on your chest, but you're pitching for 29 other teams in baseball because there's 29 other teams that need a player. And so you've always got to be prepared when you take the mound to do your best. Obviously, they're trying to, but to be on top of your game. And I think that's one of the most difficult things for players coming out of college or high school to adjust to. Is a 144 game schedule, and, you know, 150, whatever it is, to go out and play and do that grind plus spring training and have success through the whole year. It's hard to do.
Troy went around there 3-2. But you know what? Some of the best advice, I think, applies across the board, and whatever your vocation, be yourself. And that's what Anthony Rizzo needs to do.
Well, and sometimes you rub people the wrong way. I mean, you know, if you're you, you're you. You can't change it. Come on, 24, 25, or 55, doesn't matter how old you are what you are.
Ball 4, so Tulowitzki doubled in the second inning leading off. Here with 1 out, reaches via the walk. That's the first walk allowed by Matt Latos. Let's check our AT&T trivia question. How many players have hit more than Brad Hopp's 118 home runs in a Rockies uniform? Brad again today not in the starting lineup for the Padres. Smith hit a fly ball to left his first time up. Checking out Richie Dower as he flashes the signs. A lot of power guys, George, are easier to run on.
A little longer. That's part of it. A little longer delivery to the plate. A little slower. Try to get a bigger load on the backside to throw the ball harder.
One 1-0 on Smith. Troy is 6 of 8 swiping bases this year. And on this homestand in particular, the Rockies have been more aggressive. And 2-0.
Now, both teams have only combined to get 3 hits in this game. You played 3.5 innings, so both pitchers dominated the ball game so far. The Rockies have had a double from Tulowitzki, a double from Bartlett on the Padres side, and both pitchers closed the door, didn't allow any damage.
Jose Morales has the only other hit. Single last inning leading off. And a line drive that's going to turn into a double play. Alberto Gonzalez flips to first. Tulowitzki is doubled off. We'll go to the 5th, no score. Jim Tracy kind enough to join us from the Rockies dugout. Two pretty good arms going at one another right now, Trace.
No question, Drew. This is two of the better young arms in the National League West, and obviously as we go forward here through the course of the game, we get some opportunity offensively. We have to capitalize situationally, because I don't think the way both guys are throwing, either one of them is going to break down. That's for sure.
Trace, we'll let you get back to work. Thanks very much.
All right. See you. See you, George.
Bye-bye.
First pitch in there from Chacín to Alberto Gonzalez. 7, 8, and 9 in the 5th inning for the Padres.
It's so nice that Jim joins us in between innings, but I can tell you now, folks, when that game starts, and you remember the story Dusty Baker said at one point. You asked him one time, this is after 12, 15 years of managing, have you ever missed a pitch? He said, one time. I went to the bathroom, I didn't get back fast enough, and I missed one. He said, it'll never happen again. Well, I can tell you, when Jim Tracy's doing our interview, and it's gracious that he does this, but he's got that left eye peeking out there on the mound to see what's going on, because he charts every pitch. He sees everything that goes on in the game, where they are in the lineup, how they're going to pitch them, what are we going to do. I mean, there's a lot of things, and you mentioned to Joe Torre, and if you talk to every guy that's managed, until you got to Joe's position, maybe a Jimmy Leland's, a Jim Tracy, even a Tony La Russa's, you can slow the game down as a manager in your mind, because you know where you want to go, because you know your team. And when you've won 2,332 ball games, you typically are managing good teams. So you know who your #1 pinch hitter is, who your #2 is, where they hit in the lineup, when you're going to hit for them. So obviously that makes it much easier to manage a ball club. When you have a good bullpen, who's going to pitch on a plus, tied or down. You know, those things make it a lot easier, but those guys don't miss pitches. They're watching the ball game. She's really fortunate. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. That foul tip got him. Yeah, got him right on the hand. Yeah, it did.
Oh, man, it's on that
knuckle.
thumb.
Right on it. As a trainer, there's not a whole lot you can do here. You know, you see him in football, get down, lay on the ground, stick your head in the helmet, you all right, you breathe. And here you just let them kind of wear the pain a minute until they can sit up.
Trying to let the pain subside.
Well, the thing is, when you get it on a throwing hand like this, and you're going to get a good shot of it right here. Slider, so it's diving down, going to catch the bottom half of the bat, and it comes right off of it, and when it does, it hit it square. I mean, just square. Look at the grimace on his face. You can see it there on the slow-mo. Look at that. Man, you talk about hurting, it got me there. And the thing is, when you go to grip a baseball, when you grab a hold of a baseball now, part of the problem is going to be is the pressure you put with your thumb. Because you're going to use a four-seam type direction here. So, you know, you can't sit there and throw a baseball without your thumb being on it, and you've got to push with it. So you're pushing up to grip the baseball. Well, obviously, if it catches this knuckle right here, it's going to be hard for him to grip the baseball. That's why it's so difficult for catchers. You know, he might be able to lay the ball in there and flip it, but is he going to be able to throw it with accuracy? That's the biggest thing when he's flipping it out to Chacín right now. And we'll see how it goes as it gets looser. I mean, it used to freeze the thing where you didn't feel anything for about 30 minutes. It continued to go. It looks like Jose's going to give it a shot, see what he can do. At least there's some discussion right now going on with Scotty Garrett and the skipper.
Well, there's one position on the baseball field I don't think you'll ever question a guy's toughness, and that's the guy who's got the gear on.
Exactly. That's why nobody's standing in line to do that.
And you may be wondering at home why some catchers don't put their free hand, their throwing hand, when the pitch is coming behind their back. I know in a lot of conversations with Marv Foley, he teaches his catchers to keep the hand right where it is, because it's kind of behind, it's behind the glove, and it's very unusual. That's the first time we've seen it happen. I don't know in how long, George. So he believes it's an easier transition, easier to block balls when that hand is kind of resting on the thigh.
Well, and I think it's great at this level, but the younger kids, I'd love to see tuck it behind the leg. See, he doesn't have it there. You see where it is there? It's hanging behind the leg. I mean, for all you younger kids, you get to this level, you're the best athlete as a catcher. So But as you young kids, keep that thing out of the way.
And you know what? To block that pitch, you could tell he was not looking forward to putting that hand out there. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out. Rob Johnson at the plate, pitcher on deck. You know what? He got nicked again there.
He got that one in the leg. He's looking over the dugout laughing. He's going, all right, what's going to get me next?
Anybody got Dinger's suit available?
I mean, you watch this thing right here. It's going to come right up. I mean, it's just not a fun day to catch right now for Jose Morales.
And Morales, because of the late movement he gets, there's a lot of mishit. I mean, balls that are so mishit, George. You get that little nick right around the plate, more so than most other pitchers. Here's the 2-2, 3-2. Top of inning number 5, no score. Rockies won 6-3 last night after losing on Monday night 3-1. This ball's well hit to left, and it's going to get out of here. Rob Johnson with just his 2nd home run of the year, and it's 1-0 San Diego. The backup catcher for the Padres.
2 years in the big leagues. This is his 3rd. He'd been in the American League with Seattle, so he's over here backing up Hundley. And he gets this breaking ball out over the plate a little bit to the outer half. 7th pitch he'd seen, 8th pitch he'd seen. His slider starting to tilt down and away. And, got the sweet part of the bat and sent it out of the ballpark.
It's his 9th career home run. Latos at the plate. That's just the 2nd run allowed in the last 21 innings against Yolis. Let me correct that, 19 innings. 2nd run in the last 19 innings allowed by Chacin. That's a fair ball. Long throw for Wigginton. 2 gone. Kristen Orfield be coming up. A reminder in Toyota Talk in the 6th inning. We want you to sound off on whether you'd like to see an interleague play, the DH in National League parks and National League rules, i.e. no DH in American League parks. You just see a little different brand of baseball. You know, the one problem with that, George, the American League used to, putting a roster together where they have a guy and you're the DH. And the Rockies have a guy who's perfectly suited for that, Jason Giambi.
Well, here's the other side of it too. When you had a DH, he was the DH. He played against right and left-handers. I mean, Don Baylor didn't get a day off when he was a DH for the 90% of his career just because there was a hard-throwing right-hander on the mound. He played.
But if you do that, say, in a National League park, so an American League rolls in, and now you're playing by their rules, it almost negates some of the home field advantage that the NL team would have.
That's one of the big advantages in interleague. Because the leagues are so transit now. I mean, guys see pitchers. They're in different leagues. Guys don't see, in other words, they might have not have seen Chacin as a young kid, but most guys have seen them because they transfer, to free agency, trades, a lot of different ways. So it's not that big an advantage, I think, as it was maybe 10, 15 years ago. I love interleague. I think it's wonderful for baseball. I think it's a lot of fans that travel to different cities. They get to see, there's going to be people from Michigan coming in here to Colorado, Denver, Colorado, to spend time here and watch some baseball. I think it's wonderful.
Solo home run from Rob Johnson, 1-0 Padres.
Facebook for details on how to win free tolls. Tomorrow's an off day. Rockies have their annual golf tournament to raise money for a couple of charities. Detroit over the weekends here, and then it's off to Cleveland. Ty Wigginton will lead things off.
At the break, Drew was asking me about Samuel Deduno, one of the Rockies pitchers that was claimed off waivers by the San Diego Padres. He was designated the other day to Tucson. And right now, 3-1 record, 311. He's pitched in 27 ball games down there, not starting, working strictly out of the bullpen. Numbers are pretty good except for the walks. He has pitched 37 and 2/3 innings, struck out 34. That's great. The hits are down 32. But he's walked 23 coming out of the bullpen. That's not good.
It's a day for umbrellas. Not to protect from the rain, to keep the sun off the porcelain skin. Here's the 1-2 on Wigginton, 2-2. Rockies have punched out just once against Latos in 4 innings. Todd Helton in the first.
2 balls been hit hard. Tulowitzki's ball into right center field, and then the double play ball just hit by Seth Smith, the second baseman. Gonzalez doubled up Tulowitzki at first. Both these guys have really pitched well.
Latos with a 3-2 delivery to Wigginton, and it's in the air to shallow right field. Denorfia makes the catch, 1 out. Let's take a look at our CenturyLink high-speed pitch. Latos has touched 95. Yolis has touched 94. What a run last year by Latos. He set a big league record by allowing 2 runs or less in 15 straight starts.
A big, strong kid. You look at him on the mound. I mean, he's hit 94, but he's consistently 90-93 with movement on that fastball.
There's Charlie Blackmon. Last guy to leave the clubhouse last night. Charlie Blackmon was in the video room looking at his at-bats, breaking swings down, checking out the bunt that barely went foul yesterday also. Good swing there. Had a chance to talk to him a little bit about his philosophy in hitting. Remember, we rolled out the fact that through 30-plus plate appearances in the big leagues, he had struck out only 3 times and hadn't walked. And he said, "You know what? I've never struck out a high number." And he goes, "I've never walked a lot." He said, "I'm pretty aggressive and able to get the bat on a lot of pitches, so he doesn't work that deep in counts."
Yeah, his demeanor at the plate, playing the game and everything else, he reminds me of Brad Hawk. Never gets high, never gets lows, kind of stays the same, enjoys where he is, obviously.
1-2.
Hey, be at Coors Field this Friday and through Sunday. That's right. Detroit Tigers are coming to town. Interleague start for the first time here at Coors Field this year in 2011. Get your tickets, all the outlets, they have them. 1-800-388-ROCK, Coors Field, Dugout Stores, and King Supers.
And good job by Blackmon. That's a tough pitch. You know, the other interesting thing, I suppose, when you talk about the caliber of Latos and Chacin, they're both just 23.
It's kind of common now. You're seeing a lot of young guys come quick. Of course, Chacin signed at 16, been doing it for a little while, but versus Latos going to college, getting here quickly out of junior college. It's all that growing process of, you know, and again, in Latin America, it's baseball 24/7 with little breaks here and there.
Two and two. We're talking about the walks. Charlie down in Colorado Springs, walked just 19 times in 58 games.
How many strike out? How many times did he strike out? 34 times.
And this is in the air to Denorfy also, but he's going to need help. And Alberto Gonzalez couldn't make the play. And honestly, that's a really, really difficult play for an infielder running 40 yards with his back to the baseball.
Well, maybe it's the big swing of Charlie Blackmon that could have froze Denorfy in right field for a second. There's Fly. Yeah, see, he froze for like a step and a half. Now you got to go back on a Blackmon. Comes over. Denorfy does not. It is a base hit. I don't know how you could call it anything else. Hit right off of the glove of Gonzalez. He got out there, but off of the thumb. Running and looking back over the shoulder. Maybe that's the break the Rockies needed to tie or go ahead in this ball game.
See how aggressive Blackmon is. He's done a good job swiping bases. Done a good job in everything so far. He's 4 for 4. He has a stolen base in each of the last 4. Morales singled his first time. Step and a dive back.
Bud Black, once again, as he did last night with the Rockies base runners, he said, you make sure you're watching, you give double looks, you don't give a single look and go. Last night, Tulowitzki was caught at second base. This is an aggressive team, and opposing managers have taken notice.
And Morales hits it on the ground at first. And they get the force at second. Rizzo got Blackmon by a step on that feed to Bartlett.
Still watching him gingerly handle that thumb. I mean, that thing's got to be sore. Putting on that sliding wrist guard from the wrist he had broken while with the Minnesota Twins. Still protective and should be.
Ball 1 on Chacin. He had a sac bunt his first time. Chacin saying, you know what, I may try to help my own cause.
Thought about it, didn't he? 0.71 average.
Yeah, something, George. In that situation there with Blackmon at first, would you like to see Morales take a few more pitches, give Charlie a chance to run?
Not really. This guy's aggressive. I mean, he's going to throw strikes. If you thought you got a pitch you could hit, then get after it and go. You know, just because you haven't had any breaks right now. Hard thrower with a slide step is going to get there in about 1-1, 1-2, so it's going to get quick to the plate to you. That increases what Rob Johnson can do. But although Rob, you know, one thing plays into what Drew's talking about, Johnson's only thrown out 14% so far in the year. I mean, it's 5 for 29. That's not a good number.
Two and 2 on Chacin. Rockies 3 and 3 so far in this homestand. Windshield damage, call Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelight.com. And that's a base hit to center field.
See, that's a big, big hit. And a poor pitch selection in 94 on Latos. That's on him. You got a pitcher up. You know you got Carlos Gonzalez, one of the hardest hitters in all of baseball, not just with the Rockies of late. They're in the Dodgers series, swung the bat decent last night. That now you're going to take and put him in a position with a runner in scoring position. Fastball that's out over the plate, you know, down. I mean, this is where you spin that hard slider and don't give him a chance to do this. I'm glad he did. And I'm glad Chacin took advantage of it. Now you got first and second. Gonzalez can swing it.
See, Yolis there. The first 2 hacks, he looked like former Padre in the 60s and early 70s, Nate Colbert. And then he went to his 2-strike approach.
Choked up, spread out a little bit, made contact approach.
2 fly balls to fairly deep right field for Gonzalez in the game. 2 outs and 2 on. Rockies trailing 1-0. And a line drive deep right field. Stay fair. It's hooking foul. That got the crowd out of their chairs. Cargo in the first inning hit a ball. Initially, George, we thought maybe headed to the seats.
Yeah, not any wind today. The flags are blowing straight down, not like it was the first couple of nights here.
Two outs, runners in scoring position. Cargo hitting .438. That's awfully good. And this is toward the middle of the diamond. Base hit. The Rockies are going to tie it up. Carlos Gonzalez coming through. Morales scores. Chacin goes first to third. RBI number 38. Not typically as many RBIs at the top of the order as to when you're hitting third, but Carlos got one there, and he ties up the baseball game.
Yeah, another opportunity to drive one in wide because Latos gave a pitch for Chacin to hit, and he kept the inning alive, and now you benefit from that with Cargo at the plate. I mean, this is all the good part of this part. You know, he made the one mistake that cost him. That was before this. This is a ground ball up the middle, and the run comes around to score. That's the best part, with Morales tying it up right here.
9-game hitting streak for Carlos Gonzalez as well. And that'd be a wonderful time for Johnny Herrera, who's typically so steady, to get out of that little funk he's in. 0 for his last 20 at the plate. Comebacker and a ground ball to short for Johnny. If Cargo takes off. Not going, and that's dropped into the strike zone. Oh, and 2. Well, you get in a rut, George, and hitters will tell you just not picking up the baseball.
Guys make pitches
early
on you. I mean, you know, you think about how many hits you get maybe during that frame when you hit over 300 or jam shots over second or short. Now all of a sudden those jam shots are swing and misses or weak ground balls, and then the other side of that is how many ground balls that boy hit right on the button right at somebody. Line drive right at somebody. When you don't have a lot of at-bats, that 0 for 8 changes pretty quick.
Gonzalez going, the throw goes through and out at second base. Rob Johnson got a little help as he one-hopped his throw, and Cargo tagged out by Bartlett.
choices with Yoeli Chacin. Cameron Maven, he locked up on an inside fastball. And then Alberto Gonzalez hit a sharp ground ball that Ty Wigginton made a nice play on. And Rob Johnson hit a two-hop for Detroit Tulowitzki. 1-2-3. Second inning. That's brought to you by Excel Energy. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save energy and money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com. We're in a 1-1 ball game. Carlos Gonzalez just tied it up with a single up the middle, bringing home Jose Morales. Latos is allowed to run on 5 hits. Chacin was allowed to run on 2 hits. The run for the Padres came last inning. Rob Johnson on a 3-2 pitch hit a home run to left center. So Chacin, George, in 92 innings has allowed 65 hits.
It's beautiful. Sure do minimize a lot of damage it can get done to you.
So our Toyota Talk inning, we asked you, would you like to see the DH at National League parks during interleague play? And for the American League folks, the pitcher having to hit. Foul bat. Well, we understand that you don't like the DH. That wasn't the question. Nice blow by Morales, but throw is wide of Helton. And naturally, you ask the question, did the thumb have anything to do with it? Because that's a fairly routine play. So Bartlett reaches on the error by Morales. That's his second throwing error this year.
Pushed right out front. Got to get plenty of time to do this. He's worked underneath this thing and really wide of Helton. Good job, Johnny, standing back there. For Morales, I think Drew mentioned, error-wise this year, that is his 4th.
Chase Headley at the plate. You're giving him a base hit. I don't get that.
I don't either.
How can you give him a base hit? You make a good throw, he's out.
By about 15 feet. We'll look at it again. Tavis will flip it back around there for us. I think the more we show it, obviously the decision will be made a little easier and better. See, I told you, Tavis.
The only way it should be a hit is if it's a good throw and Bartlett would have beat it anyhow.
He wouldn't have.
I mean, it's close play. See if we have another angle of that to see if the ball was around Todd's glove prior to Bartlett arriving. Bartlett 12 bags this year. He's been caught just 3 times. Two and one.
Well, let's see where the runner is. All right, now where's the bag? Where's the runner? And where's the ball? Here comes the ball. See, I mean, if it's on target, he's out by a step and a half.
Right. That's an error.
Well, he got a gift.
Caught the zone, 2-2. There's somebody who'd like to see more interleague games. Martin in Madison, Wisconsin.
Mark and Greeley says pitchers can't hit, basically, is what he's saying.
We're not saying get rid of the DH. That wasn't the question. We talked about that last night. The DH exists in the American League. So guys like Big Papi and Jim Thome.
Well, that gentleman's talking about the National League.
Yeah, there was somebody earlier who was mentioning that.
keep it the way it is. We see Giambi pinch hit a lot, so who cares if we see him DH at home? I'd rather watch Verlander swing the bat. TJ in Colorado Springs. We'll see him on Sunday. Swung on and missed. Headley is gone. That is the second time that Chacin has gotten him. 7 strikeouts, by the way, for Yolis.
And it was a nasty pitch, too, to get him. He'd worked him really hard inside. Now, see, this is old-fashioned slider work here, folks. This is on that back foot and down. It's not about trying to go to the back door, but back foot and down.
Ryan Ludwig at the plate. So I seemed concerned that Bartlett was going to take off, so he just held on him. They still haven't changed that.
By the way, I mean, you're sitting in a tight ball game, and she seems making a lot of throws first base. Bartlett, 12 stolen bases. He's been caught 3 times. A pretty sizable lead over at first right now. Yeah, no, I'm really surprised they haven't either.
0-1 on Ludwig. A walk and a line out to center field. The best defensive play of this ball game made by Carlos Gonzalez as well.
Johnny Herrera made a nice play on the ball up the middle with the dive from the knees. He threw out a runner, but it wasn't. It was the pitcher.
Yeah, but keep in mind when Ludwig got robbed by Gonzalez, George, he was batting second after Headley had walked leading off the inning. So you're talking about 2 guys on and nobody out. Good big play in this game. 1-1. Chacin slowing things down. Now, this is a big part of the Padres' offense this year, the running game. They have to. They're not going to hit it over the wall. Talked a lot about the number of low-scoring games they play. Bartlett takes off, and the throw by Morales is on target. Did he get the tag down? He did. Johnny Herrera applied the tag. Jose Morales' thumb feeling much better. He just cut down Jason Bartlett.
2 catchers this year that have not really thrown out a high number, but this time it is a good job by Morales. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Good step back and catch to the baseball by Johnny Herrera, and then apply the tag quickly. Once he caught the ball, that hand to the body tag got there really quick. You know, he's thinking, hoping it'll get him. You bet. A little enthusiasm. Good to see, too.
Nice catcher interference on that last pitch. And he hit
sure
the
did.
glove.
Got the top of it.
Ludwig pointed it out, so he's on. And this is fouled off by Rizzo. Now they've gone ahead and changed it, George. So
With catcher's interference, that counts as an error on the catcher. So Morales has now just accumulated, with the change in official scoring, 2 errors. And you know what? I don't think Jose's not thrilled about that, but he's sure glad he was able to cut down Bartlett.
Yep, sure is.
And you know what? Listen, players know when they would make a miscue, and Jose would tell you that's a throw I got to make. Talking about the initial bunt called the hit by Bartlett. Line drive that's going to drop in front of Smith. Now how big was that throw out of Bartlett? Rizzo reaches his first hit of the series, and that'll bring up Maben with 2 on. And Bob Apodaca, for the first time, will go to the mound.
Now the thing starts to play in. Even when he's just given up 1 hit in the ball game, he's still sitting near 100 pitches. He has 97 in the ball game right now.
A lot of foul balls, George.
Foul balls, and it's a bad deal because, you know, when you're pitching this well, still you're looking at 115. You might sneak 1 more inning out of it.
That hit by Rizzo snapped an 0 for 12 slide. Maben will come up. He's 0 for 2 in the game, a strikeout and a comebacker. 2 doubles in last night's ball game. 1-1 affair. Rockies have a little more bullpen available, George, this afternoon than they did yesterday. Matt Belisle was down yesterday.
Well, Betancourt was too.
Betancourt was down yesterday. The only guy down today is Rex Brothers.
So many people wondered.
Hard on the ground, but a Tulowitzki, tough hop. He'll go the long way. And he throws out Cameron Maben. Nice job by Tulowitzki to stay with a difficult hop. No harm done in the 6th. Freeze cam. There's a tag by Johnny Herrera clearly before Bartlett got to the bag. Good call by Brian Gorman, the second base umpire. Another look at it. That's brought to you by Frostbrewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Bottom of the 6th inning in a 1-1 ball game. The Rockies will have Herrera again. He'll resume his at bat. Keep in mind that he was up there with an 0-2 count when Gonzalez was thrown out trying to steal last inning. So it's Herrera, Todd Helton, Troy Tulowitzki. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Alana Rizzo on a perfect Wednesday afternoon in the Mile High City. Johnny takes a strike. And George, keep talking about getting the Rockies jump started
maybe one of the things that'll get them jump started is interleague play, because the last few years the Rockies have been a very good interleague team. This ball pulled foul. I think actually the last 3 years, Doug's going to check for me, I think they may have the best record in the National League against the American League.
Well, and it's going to be a lot harder this year because you're playing, Detroit's in here, they're leading the Central. Then you go play Cleveland as second in the Central. Then you go to New York and play. Where's he going? Foul ball. He said, "Good, hit me on the hand."
Here comes Jim Tracy. He was already a step out of the dugout. Johnny telling Tony Randazzo, "I got hit." Wouldn't make that up. Tony, you can see he's pointing to his eyes. He said, "I didn't see it." Johnny's saying, "Look, I got a cut."
Well, you know what? The umpire guy's here, Joe Torre. He'll get to watch. That's what Jim's saying. Why don't you ask somebody? You know what? He's wanting him to ask, and he goes, "Okay, who do you want me to go ask?" I'll ask. Who do you want me to ask? Go ask somebody.
Ask the open side. Finally, Tony Randazzo says, "All right, he's going to call Dan Bellino down."
Dan, you better back me, or I'm telling you.
All right. I mean, these guys they're on the same team also. Now they're going to try to get it right. I'm not suggesting anything.
Now wait a second. And I'll tell you something. You watch an umpire when they're talking like this, they'll never answer yes or no. They'll just say yes. They'll say no. Said he's at the plate. Dan Bellino did not see anything differently than Tony Randazzo. You know what? I think it hit his forearm. Maybe it hit the butt of the bat and then his forearm. I want to see if it hit. Slow it down, guys. Really slow for me. See if it hit. No, it hit him.
Yeah, it didn't come close to the bat.
No.
0-2. And a base hit for Jonathan Herrera.
See, you want to step in and hit anyway, John.
And you know what? He did get hit. That's why he got the base hit.
I guess so. You're right.
There's justice.
Justice has been served.
And that snaps an 0 for 20 slide for Johnny.
This saw one of those almost attaboys too. Hit off of Rizzo's glove before it went in the outfield.
Todd Helton's 0 for 2. Go ahead run at first base in Herrera. Lato's going to check him out. Johnny's not a big base stealer.
No, 1-1 game, though. That's what you're doing. You're going to check, try to hold guys a little bit because you're at the top of the order. Well, they throw a hit and run on. Typically, you wouldn't see that, but Helton's a guy that can swing the bat a little bit, can place the baseball with that magic wand. Try to tighten things up for everybody.
Yeah, by the way, the Rockies last 2 years 20-10 in interleague play.
Did you get the answer to this?
How many players have hit more than Brad Hopp's 118 home runs in a Rockies uniform?
Did you get all 6?
Larry Walker, Dante Bichette, Todd Helton.
You're reading those wonderfully.
No, I'm doing this. Well, that's why I stopped. I got to think some more. Vinny?
No. I'm just teasing. Yes. Never mind. He's just going to throw it out on you, not let you try to play to win the Corvette.
He's trying to win the.
See, he's trying to let you win a new Toyota truck, and look what happens. He throws it right out on you.
Galarraga and Matt Holliday. 423 players, by the way, have played for the Rockies, including pitchers. 2-1. That 1-1 swing pitch moves the count in favor of the hitter, Todd Helton. Latos is now giving up 4 hits in the last inning plus after the Rockies had only 3 base runners against him in the first 4 innings. Todd against the Padres this year, hitting .424 with 3 jacks.
Well, he pulled the string there, didn't he?
Kid can pitch. He can really pitch.
$14-10 last year. That's pitching. .292 ERA. 3-2. Johnny takes off, and this is punched to left field for a base hit. And Herrera's going to go first to third.
You know, I don't know if even punched is a good word.
Yeah, you know what?
I think flared.
Flare goes farther than that, George.
Well, I'm not sure. You take those hits though when you're chasing down the big numbers. This evens out a lot of those line drives Helton's hit right at guys. But I mean, that's off almost squarely off the end of the bat. Everybody froze, locked up on it. Headley's like, hey, somebody. Oh, wait a minute, nobody got that. Can't believe it.
That ball didn't go 150 feet in the air. Well placed. First and third, nobody out. Tulowitzki at the plate.
Well, it's a tough decision for Bud Black, too, the way this ball game's going, the way the Rockies bullpen can pitch. You leave your infield back in the middle, turn the double play. Do you bring him in and try to shut the inning down and get Johnny Herrera at first, at third base? So what do? Chad Qualls, the big right-hander, getting loose down in the bullpen.
Tulowitzki, a double and a walk. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. It's the second inning leadoff double by Tulowitzki. You want to see a ball hit hard? There's a line drive off the base of the center field wall. 16th double of the year for Troy. And here's the 1-0. 1-1. Tulowitzki 8 for his last 16 with runners in scoring position. He's got 12 RBIs over his last 7 ball games. That locked him up to 1-2.
Well, it's a big bender. It's different velocities. 77 miles an hour. Slider the pitch before that.
Troy gathers his thoughts. Infield up the middle, set for 2. At third base, Headley's a couple steps behind the bag. Troy covers the heat inside. Tulowitzki's done a tremendous job making contact this year, particularly for a power hitter. I was talking to him about that before the ball game. This is his best run in his big league career in terms of limiting the punch outs. And typically that comes with a good 2-strike approach.
The curveball was a strike. Now they're going to go hard slider. See if he tries to make it perfect. Nah, he didn't. He just made it nasty. 83 mile an hour straight down.
So he makes a pitch, fans Tulowitzki. And now Seth Smith with 1 out.
Last time up, he did a scorcher right at Gonzalez. They doubled off Tulowitzki.
That's just the second strikeout for Latos.
A lot of guys
who normally strikes out almost a hitter an inning.
Yeah, for big guys like him, when they go get the strikeout and they have that weapon, they have a good fastball and a hard breaking ball to go with it, that can make it difficult on hitters. He made a pitch there on Tulowitzki. That's kind of hoping maybe he might try to overthrow the slider and leave it hanging, but he didn't.
1-1.
Hey, buy a Rockies baseball branded by See Lazy U Ranch on Saturday. Proceeds benefit the Colorado Rockies Foundation. They'll be near the kids' interactive area in right field. So it's pretty neat. The Lazy Z Ranch over there, should say See the Lazy U Ranch, will be out in the Interactive Center on Saturday.
This ball driven to right. It's going to drop. Here comes the go-ahead run in Herrera on a line single by Seth Smith. So Smith comes through, puts the Rockies ahead. RBI number 29.
Smith 9th in the league with runners in scoring position at .341 average. That's going to go up after this at bat after driving in Johnny Herrera, and Bud Black's going to his bullpen. Slider just goes down, and Smith smokes this ball to right field. Actually handcuffed Denorpia in right. He came up with a baseball. They were able to hold the runners at first and second, but Bud Black's seen enough out of the youngster. It's 94 pitches. And a 2-1 deficit. He's going to go to the veteran right-hander Chad Qualls out of the bullpen.
A lot of balls hit hard the last 2 innings against Latos. With the Rockies ahead 2-1. Qualls will be on board when we return. Got his arm draped over him. Johnny got the rally started with a base hit, and he just was brought home by Seth Smith. 2-1 Colorado with 1 out in the 6th inning. Root Sports Red Alerts will keep you updated on the latest Rockies happenings this year. Text the word alerts to 720-720 to get Rockies updates straight to your phone. Message and data rates may apply.
I think she's texting to find out the alerts, what's going on. I don't know why she'd be doing that. She's at the game, but she can if she wants to. Mr. Qualls, the right-hander, is on the hill for the San Diego Padres. Heavy sinker slider. The Rockies saw him as a closer for a year and a half with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Was traded to the Tampa Bay Ball Club, came back, and is now pitching out of their bullpen as one of their setup men. And 2 for 12 inherited runners. So only 2 have scored of the 12 he has inherited in baseball this year. He gets out of innings with that heavy sinker. Career started in Houston, where he worked as a setup man. Throws hard with that sinker.
Bud Black's trying to get a double play here. Lefties faring much better than righties against Qualls. Righties 197. Rockies with 8 hits. And it's 2-0 on Wigginton. Talking about a guy who's seeing it well lately, George.
Hit a lot of balls hard. He's had a lot of balls hit hard that hasn't gotten anything for it. I can think of 3 in this series. Scalded right at somebody.
Hilton at second, Smith at first. This ball's hit hard, and he will get something out of it. Left center field, Todd will score. Smith to third. He'll stop there. And Wigginton with an RBI single. Ty Wigginton driving in his 22nd run of the year.
Yeah, nice to see the bottom of that lineup doing a little bit of damage down there. That sinker got up, but I tell you, if you watch Wigginton's front side on that swing, he really clears the bottom half to get the barrel of the bat in on the baseball because it's coming in on him. Yeah, veteran job of hitting. Pick up an RBI, give the Rockies a little cushion, 3-1.
And now with Smith's ability to go first to third on that, Blackman an opportunity with a productive out to give the Rockies a 4th run. Just caught the outside corner, strike 1. Charlie's 1 for 2. Yeah, the infield set for 2, George. And just looking at Gonzalez and Bartlett, they've shortened up even more so than normal double play depth because Blackman runs so well.
Have to. Not going to turn it if you don't. You got to get to the ball and get rid of it in a hurry.
Give Smith a greater chance to score.
Well, plus you got a hard-nosed guy at first base. He's going to go into second hard to try to prevent a good throw.
You can guarantee that. Yeah, Blackman didn't pull the trigger. It's 1 and 2.
Yeah, he wanted to fire right there. He really did. And then he just kind of stopped everything at the very end. It's one thing Chad Qualls will do. He'll throw his heavy sinking fastball. Then he'll throw a 4-seam fastball in the same location. Well, when you do that, a lot of times hitters will give up on it because it'll appear to be on the outside corner going to break off.
So Blackman do this in a previous at bat, battle away before coming up with a base hit. Smith at third, Wigginton at first. 4 singles in the inning. Rockies have 9 hits, 8 singles and a double. Blackman loops this into foul ground and just over the tarp. Chase Headley had to bail on it. Here's the 1-2. Outside, 2 and 2. If your windshield's hurt, you know, windshields can get hurt, George.
Really?
Yes.
They get hurt?
They get
Do
hurt.
they have to go to the like windshield doctor?
Yeah, they go to Safe Flight Auto Glass. That's the windshield doctor. 303-287-5000 or safelight.com.
They have an emergency room so you can get it done right then and there?
Sometimes.
Doctor on staff at all times?
Yes. 2-2. And a line drive, base hit for Blackman. Here comes Smith trotting home with the Rockies' 4th run. Colorado singling the Padres to death here in the 6th.
How about the bottom of this lineup today? Smith, Wigginton, and Blackman, all RBIs. And And again, it's the base hits that they're getting and been applying pressure, rolling it over, as Chassin did when he rolled the inning over to get the first run. Lindstrom was the guy warming up down in the bullpen a minute ago. I don't know if he's still going. He was throwing it. After you look at another look at that base hit by Charlie Blackmon, Ryan Spilborghs has stepped out into the on-deck circle.
4-1 Rockies. They've now out-hit the Padres 10-3. Morales has a hit in 2 trips. Catches the corner. Had that been a ball, George, I'd say, you know, it wouldn't be a bad thought. Morales can bunt a little bit. Headley was a step behind the bag. You want to cross everybody up.
You do just that. 3-run lead, though. I think Jimmy's going to go ahead and let him swing away and see if he can get another base hit.
Lindstrom getting ready. Charlie Blackmon's now 4 for 12 in risk situations, runners in scoring position.
Been a nice surprise. That's the fun part about living in Tulsa. A lot of these guys that are coming up here and helping right now, Nelson, Blackmon, Chassin, these guys I've watched for 2 or 3 years down there. When I'm home, I go to the ballpark. And it's been fun to watch these guys develop as players and get the opportunity here and have success.
And that's a base hit. Wigginton will go 90 feet, and the bases are loaded for Spilborghs. 6 singles in the inning. The only out, the Tulowitzki strikeout. Spilborghs to pinch hit for Chassin with the bases full.
Tough, Bob. Look at this ball. On the ground. It's a badly mislocated pitch, but it's not a horrible pitch. That's just a great job of hitting by Morales. I mean, he dumps this thing out into left field on the line, and you kind of had to freeze for a second because it wasn't very high, and that's what prevented the run from coming in. Plus, Ludwig came in and played a little bit shallower in left field.
That ball, the bat, George, was perpendicular to the ground when he made contact. Rockies 5 for 10 with runners in scoring position. The Padres 0 for 4. Chance to blow this thing open here. And another base hit. 1 run is scored. Here comes Blackmon to the plate. Throw by Maven way offline. 2-run single. Ryan Spilborghs make it 6-1 Colorado. Seven singles in the inning.
Yeah, why not? Ryan Spilborgh's done a great job at coming off the bench, hitting for the Rockies, and then he gets one here on the inside half of the plate. Pull the hands in, get him through the baseball, slice it out into center field. Maven wanted to get the good hop, but the throw well offline. Charlie comes in standing up, and the Rockies, they make this a 5-run deficit, 6-1. Qualls, the guy, come in. He's been greeted wanting double plays, and unfortunately it's been line drives for Bud Black. He's not been able to get a ball on the ground yet.
Gonzalez at the plate. Strike 1. Carlos tied up the baseball game an inning ago with a 2-out single. And now the Rockies have tacked 5 onto their total. They lead it 6-1. Cargo 1 for 3. He's got a 9-game hitting streak going now. Earlier in the year he had a 10-gamer. 15 for 31 on the homestand.
The Submariner, Scribner's out getting loose now. Neshek, the guy from Minnesota.
Neshek's a Submariner.
From Minnesota.
Yeah. Scribner's over the top.
That's right. It's 88-91 last night with a heavy sink and a little slider.
There you go.
Yeah. The thing about this, it all got started with Johnny Herrera getting hit, not getting hit, according to the umpire. And then A line drive hit to right field. It was off the glove of Anthony Rizzo. And then all the hits started. Helton hit the flare to left field. Tulowitzki struck out. Smith with a hard hit ball to right field. Wigington with a hard hit ball. Blackman. And then Morales. The hit parade has been fun.
Qualls had been in a really good place. He leads the Padres in appearances. And in 20 of his previous 23 outings, he hadn't allowed a run. Not today. 4 runs, by the way, charged to Latos in 5 1/3. His book is closed. Eight hits against Latos, a walk and a couple of strikeouts. Rockies have 2 against Qualls here. And Cargo swings and misses, and the bat slipped out of his hands. So the man who started it is now at the plate. Jonathan Herrera, who snapped an 0 for 20 slide with that base hit after he got hit by a pitch. Unfortunately, Tony Randazzo didn't see it. 6-1, Rockies leading. Off out of play. 1-1. Morales is at second base. Spilborg's at first base. One and two.
Well, guess what, folks? You better believe it. It's coming up on Friday. That's right. It's going to give away 10,000 T-shirts from Taco Bell that we want tacos T-shirts. You got to have it to be here. One of the first 10,000 to the gates. You'll get your shirt. I got mine early today. It's a good-looking shirt, Drew.
Yeah, Rockies are run away. This is hit in the air to right field and deep. And in the middle of the warning track, Denorfia makes the catch. San Diego finally gets off the field. 10 came to the plate. The Rockies score 5 times on 7 singles. 6-1. More saving, more doing. Carlos Gonzalez, who can beat you in so many ways.
takes a hit from Ryan Ludwig. He would have put 2 on with nobody out in the 4th inning. That's play by Cargo. His roles changed, George, offensively and defensively over the last 10 days. And guess what? He's doing fine in both areas.
Well, it's not like you got a newcomer hitting in the run-producing spot in Todd Helton. He's done that for a few years, too, and it's all working out there, too. Matt Lindstrom's coming on to replace Yolis Yassin, who did a brilliant job. 6 innings, 8 strikeouts. The Rockies starters the last 2 days, 12 innings pitched, 9 hits, 3 runs. They've walked 3, struck out 17, and Matt Lindstrom, who pitched in the ball game last night and went in 2/3 of the innings, couple of hit and a walk and a run, was bailed out by Rex Brothers. Will come on, a very good earned run average, 2.67. He'll face Alberto Gonzalez, Rob Johnson, and then they'll go to their bench. Big base hit by Spilborghs. That was nice.
Yeah. You talk about opening up or in a grand slam lead. That's what managers think about. 5-run lead now for the Rockies.
Charlie Blackmon, another base hit. That was a fun inning. 7 hits, 5 on the board.
He went. Gonzalez has twice hit the ball on the ground to Wigginton. 1 and 2 on Alberto. 2 and 2. Chacin allowed 1 run in 6 innings. The home run by Rob Johnson, the only damage for San Diego. Seven hits last inning for the Rockies, tied a season high for hits in an inning. And last time they did it, the only other time they did it, that's over Helton's head. And Gonzalez is going to try for 2, and he's going to be in there. The only other time they did it, just a few days ago against the Dodgers, they had 7 hits in an inning. Let's see what Alana Rizzo's up to.
Thanks very much. There's a bit of a Denver connection with Padres outfielder Will Venable. Now, Venable played baseball and basketball at Princeton, but he was actually recruited to play basketball. He was recruited by John Thompson III, and he played for him for 3 seasons. Now, when John Thompson III left Princeton University, here's the Denver connection. Head coach of the University of Denver Pioneers men's basketball team now, Joe Scott. Well, that was the new coach there at Princeton. So he inherited Will Venable among some other players. And when I talked to Coach Scott about Venable, he said, you know what, he was a natural competitor, naturally a driver, very gifted athlete. And I talked to Will Venable about Coach Scott. He said he was one of the best coaches I've ever had about drawing up a quick play in a timeout. The schemes that he was able to come up with were the best I've ever been around. You know, an interesting relationship between the two guys. Another Denver connection for you here. Padres and the Rockies, guys.
Well, Coach Scott comes to see us usually during the summer. We'll see him later on. He's a big baseball fan.
Yeah, he usually loves the game. You know, I find that with a lot of coaches. You know, football, basketball.
Well, George,
they like to come out to the ballpark, sit down and eat a hot dog, bring their family, a little breeze in their face, and watch some baseball.
And as you well know, George Karl is a huge baseball fan. Sat in the dugout for a while during a spring training game with Jim Tracy. They've become fast friends. 2-0 on Rob Johnson. So 2-1 count. Venables come out in the on-deck circle, getting loose to hit for Qualls. That's in there, 2-2. 2-2 on the former Mariner Johnson, and it's high 3-2. We got a 5-run lead, George, and obviously this is what Lindstrom wants to do. It's just not happening. Pound the strike zone. I mean, he throws 97.
What do you got? 5 runs or 1 run? You come out of the bullpen, you got to be able to have the ability to throw strikes and do it with 2 pitches, so you can work through those innings much easier.
Center field, and Cargo will get there. So here comes the aforementioned Will Venable. Oh, and Chris Young was still playing for the Padres. They had 2 former Princeton basketball, baseball players. Go figure.
Earlier today, Bob Apodaca and Jimmy Wright, they were both in the video room with Lindstrom looking at video from yesterday's game. Because, you know, as a bullpen guy, you don't have a chance to go down and throw in the bullpen and try to fix something. You got to fix it on the fly. Well, Bob out to give him a quick reminder, was not privileged to what they were discussing with him. That's off limits to everyone in the media. Here's Jim Wright sitting with Matt Belisle.
Another note on Chacín, George. 6 innings, 1 run, 3 hits. So remember, the league was hitting just 199 against him coming in. Yeah, now they're hitting 195. The only guy, starting pitcher in the National League, with a better mark than that is Tommy Hanson of Atlanta at 189. It's 2-0. Venable did not go. Think about that, George. Chacín pitches half his games at Coors Field. An unbelievable hitter's park, and the league's hitting $195 against him.
Yeah, how about that? Isn't that amazing? Just making pitches, doing what you got to do.
He's in line for his 8th victory. It's 3-0. 15 pitches, 8 out of the strike zone. Where's he going, George?
I think probably pizza, hot dog, beer stand, one of those.
Three and 1. And ball 4, so Venable draws a walk. And here comes Tulowitzki. Troy's interesting because he's very direct sometimes how he delivers messages.
What do you want him to say? How you doing? Not too good. Just walked the guy. Tracy's getting really hacked off over the dugout. Well, you might throw a strike. Hey, you know, you come to the mound, you got something to say. You get it out of your mouth and go. Well, it's typically let's go. You got a 5-run lead, all right? Well, here's the deal. You go up to the mound, you start harping on those guys, and all of a sudden they turn around and look, oh, dude, you were 0 for 4. Go back out there and play shortstop. That was one of the best fights I ever saw. Was on the field between Gossage and Nettles, a screaming match in Kansas City.
Nettles got in a fight with everybody on his team.
Just when they got close to third.
Denorfia, tough out at the plate. Leads the Padres in hitting. 0 for 3 and a couple of punch outs in this one. That was against Chacín.
This is, you know,
strike,
as a veteran middle reliever, and he's a veteran guy, that he should have a feel right now. What's for I can throw for a strike. I don't care if it's a slider, throw it, but throw strikes. Matt Reynolds is up tossing in the Rockies bullpen. Drew mentioned earlier with the distance yesterday and the pitches thrown, they'd probably like to see Brothers get a day off. You know, Matt Reynolds was up 3 different times yesterday down in the bullpen.
George, you always like to remind people, nobody wants to throw strikes more than the guy who's out there.
Well, I mean, that's the whole deal. You know, I loved it when, you know, you're watching a Little League game and the guy's got the walk marathon going and they're all screaming, throw a strike. Okay, raises. Pitcher ever turn around, raise his hand, goes, I'm trying to. I'm having fun doing it too. You guys liking this too? I mean, come on. Slide a little ball over. I don't see any of you guys running up there to throw it. You know, that's what always used to crack me up. You know, oh, put somebody in throwing strikes. Okay, well, you think he's not trying to?
1-2. And that just missed at 97 on the inside corner.
And one thing that hurts Lindstrom's, his stuff is so nasty that if it's like not right there, guys are like, I'm not swinging because I can't do anything with it anyway. It runs off for a ball. It hurts him because, I mean, you know, unless he can get ahead in a hurry with strike one, he's dealing with nasty stuff, and guys don't swing at it.
Back up the middle. That's a base hit, and that'll get Gonzalez home. And let's see how Jim Tracy plays this. He's got Bartlett here, then he's got the switch hitter Headley. He's got Matt Reynolds up. It's not a situational deal. Reynolds has been getting righties out by and large this year at a great rate.
Slider just again up a little bit in the strike zone and caught too much of the middle of the plate. Denorfia last night had a home run off of Nicasio on a hanging slider into right center.
Does he not throw his fastball enough for you, George?
Does. I just think sometimes it's straight and they see it pretty easy coming out of the hand sometimes. You know, it's hard to believe with it, but I think he falls behind. He's always had that nasty slider, so it's kind of the crutch pitch to go to. Just can't hang it. I love Matt Lindstrom's stuff. I think just the confidence side of things sometimes is not there maybe what it should be. Man, his stuff's off the charts. Stan Meek, scouting director down in Florida. First time I ever saw Matt Lindstrom come to the big leagues and pitched against Todd Helton. I called him afterwards. I go, where do you find these guys? I mean, he's incredible stuff. Thought maybe he'd been scouting some different areas than everybody else. He keeps bringing them up all the time.
They've harvested a lot of pitching. They're in Atlanta. 1-1 on Bartlett.
I'll tell you one thing Atlanta does. They have two older gentlemen. You can't give me the Atlanta media guide. Their names staying with me right now that they work in the lower minor leagues. And they've had 15, 20 years in the big leagues of experience as big league pitching coaches. And then I think Del Canton's one of them that they send down there to work with the young kids. And, you know, their egos aren't big. They're the grandfather type. Put the arm around them, help nurse them along, and kind of do the advanced teaching at a lower level. And it, you know, obviously carries up to the big leagues. And that has shown.
Two hits and a walk in the inning. The run has come around. It's 6-2. 1 out. This is now 27 pitches in for Lindstrom. Boy, this off day tomorrow is going to be huge for that Rockies bullpen.
Dave Wallace, longtime, very successful big league coach, is one of their minor league roving instructors that works the lower levels. Bruce Del Canton was another that worked down there.
Swung on and missed. Well, a strikeout of Bartlett, 2 gone, and that'll bring up Headley, who's 0 for 2 and a walk.
And that'll bring Jim Tracy out and get left on right and keep Headley over there versus the other side of it.
He's going to flip Headley around. So Lindstrom will depart. Jim Tracy will bring on Matt Reynolds. 6-2 Colorado in the 7th.
Lexus look back, brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. Fifth inning, Carlos Gonzalez with the Rockies trailing 1-0 and 2 outs. Ripped a single up the middle, and there's the equalizer. And then in the sixth inning, the Rockies really got it going. Seth Smith, a base hit. Rockies would produce 5 runs on 7 singles. Charlie Blackmon, after a lengthy at-bat, singled home a run, and then coming off the bench, Ryan Spilborg's a 2-run pinch hit single. You get the picture. Rockies have a 6-2 lead. They're 2 outs in the 7th inning. The Colorado native Chase Headley, switch hitter, now flips over to the right side against Matt Reynolds. 2 on and 2 outs, and the slider's in there for a strike. Reynolds holding righties to a 185 average. At one point, they were 1 for 20 against them this year. They're 4 for their last 7. That's high. What a bonus when you can go down to your bullpen. You have 2 lefties down there that have the ability to get righties out. And that's the situation right now the Rockies enjoy with Matt Reynolds and Rex Brothers on the outside corner. 1-2. Reynolds has inherited 19 base runners, only 2 have scored. That is outstanding. Here's the 1-2, and he's going to get out of this one too. Popped up left side, Wigginton in foul ground waiting. And Todd makes the catch. In the inning, there was a run on a couple of hits. Rockies leading 6-2. Stretch time at Coors Field. I think you'll find it fascinating. We talked to players, also Todd Helton, about what he recalls of draft day. That's a good shot at Zach Wilson. That's Rockies All Access, 6:30 p.m. tomorrow night, right here on Root Sports. You know who represented the Rockies at the draft? Our old friend Walt Weiss.
Good for Walter. Won a state championship with Regis and headed on down to have ran the draft.
And again, congratulations to Brody Weiss. Brody, an outstanding sophomore shortstop for Regis Jesuit. Good player. Todd Helton will lead things off. Todd, a base hit last inning. Corey Lukey is now in the ball game.
Yeah, took a couple innings the other night. Outstanding. Couple innings the other night for this ball club. 2 innings, 1 hit. or one walk, I should say, and a strikeout. Last night warmed up in the ball game, did not get in it. Former starter with some gas. 92, 94 mile an hour fastball.
And Todd with get down. He's going to give him a hit, George.
We can. Yeah, it's funny. You see all those draft day things and everything going on. And I was lucky I got to experience it twice or 3 times. Once with Parker, twice with me. But I remember when I got drafted, I was working for my dad, building power lines out in rural America. He pulled up. He said, "You got drafted." I said, "How's that? The war's over. I don't go to Vietnam." He kind of looks at me, shakes his head. He said, "No, the Texas Rangers." I said, "Let me get this right, because I'm 40 feet in the air on a telephone pole with belt and hooks on doing work for him." I said, "Let me get this right. You're telling me that the Texas Rangers can come to Missouri and make me join their arms sort?" You know, he goes, "No, you're not going to be a cop. It's the Texas Ranger baseball team. Get off the pole. You got to call them. There weren't any cell phones or anything."
You know what? I love.
So I came off the pole. I got in the car and I went home and I called them.
I love you to death.
Lee Anthony.
You've told. I've heard about 6,000 George Frazier stories over the years.
That's true.
And I like that one because I believe that.
You can call my mother and ask her if she hears you. She'll answer you. But I'm telling you, that's a true story.
1 ball, 1 strike on Tulowitzki. First, you thought you were going to Vietnam. Then the second time, you thought you were.
I'm going to be a cop in Texas.
Right.
Yeah. I was thinking, man, a horse, white hat, the badge, the whole thing. Who's that guy that plays Texas Ranger on TV, Doug? I know you watched it. Chuck Connors, that's what I'm thinking about that.
No, it's the guy that does the commercials.
Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris.
Yeah. Do you know who drafted me the second time? Tony Siegel used to work for the.
Tony's with the Giants still.
He's with the Giants now. He's with Colorado Rockies. Prior to that, he ran the Milwaukee Brewers farm system.
Tony's a lifer.
First 5,000 kids on Sunday, you're going to receive a Troy Tulowitzki Youth replica jersey. You're out of town.
Will you get me one?
Oh, yeah, we need some jerseys.
Give me 3.
I need some for my grandkids, too. So if you're listening, I need some Tulowitzki Youth jerseys for all my grandsons, and Drew needs them for the boys. Courtesy of Remax.
Tulowitzki's gone. And that'll bring up Smith. .62 Colorado, 12 hits this afternoon for the Rockies. You know, everybody in the lineup has a knock in this game.
Everybody?
Including Chacin. He had a sacrifice and a single. Remember, the single kept that inning alive and allowed Cargo to hit, which got the equalizer home.
Did you watch Storage Wars last night?
I did not. I missed it.
I can't believe you don't watch American Pickers. You don't watch Storage Wars. You don't watch Pawn Stars. Can't believe it. In L.A., Pawn Stars. They're in Vegas, and there's the family runs the whole thing. You got Chumley. Do you not watch any of that stuff?
I missed it last night.
Again.
I regularly miss it.
Were you riding the bike again or what?
Yes. Oh, 0-2 on Smith. Smith keeps the at-bat alive. Hey, Jose Morales, I noticed this when Charlie Blackmon. I noticed this, obviously, wearing number 8. We noticed that as soon as he came out. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, who's the most famous number 8 for the Rockies through the years?
What was the catcher that threw the knuckleball that won the game?
That's one of them, Brett Maine.
Brett Maine, that'd be number 8.
And
you know why he wore it, though, don't you? Because that's Yogi.
Yeah, well, typically it's been a catcher's number. In fact, I'm looking at some of the names on here. Most of these guys are catchers. Probably you'd have to say Yorvi Torrealba, the most famous number 8 in Rockies history. This is popped up left side. And Bartlett makes the catch. 1-2-3 in the 7th. The Rockies go down with Lukey on the mound. We'll go to the 8th, 6-2. world, your workplace. Latos and Chassin, two very gifted 23-year-olds opposing one another, and Chassin has gotten the better of Latos. Chassin 6 strong innings, allowing a run on 3 hits. Latos, the Rockies got to him later on in his start, and they ran him off in the 6th inning. Johnson a solo home run to supply the first marker for San Diego. 6-2 in the 8th inning. Ryan Ludwig at the plate as Matt Reynolds continues on. He got the final out of the 7th inning, getting Chase Headley to pop out. Pulled the string there. 1-1. Hey, what a great crowd this afternoon. 35,877 playing hooky. High fly ball left field. Charlie Blackmon's out there, and Charlie's got it. Hey, a reminder coming up in the post-game show, the Toyota post-game show. You can continue to text in your thoughts on if you wanted to flip-flop the rules, American League DH, National League DH, or anything else on your mind. In other words, right now, as you know, when the American League comes to National League Park to play National League rules, we're wondering if you'd like to see that flip-flop. Text Toyota followed by a space and then your comments to 720-720. Toyota Talk and the Toyota postgame show. Strike one on Anthony Rizzo. He singled his last time up, his first knock of the series. Definitely has one of those uphill cuts. Prince Fielder has an extreme uppercut. Anthony Rizzo's got a natural uppercut to his swing path. Here's the 0-2. Ground ball to Johnny Herrera. He lost it for a moment. He recovers. The beauty of playing on the right side.
Shorten things up, shorten that throw up.
And with 2 gone, Cameron Maben will come up. The former North Carolina High School Player of the Year, 0 for 3 in this contest.
See, Maven showed me in this series he's a really good fastball hitter, mistake fastball hitter. When you spin something at him, it gets a little better. Dad, I want to go on the field and play with those guys. I don't like it up here. Oh, there's Cameron there. High fives. Charlie's out getting high fives. Who's that running camera? Is that Charlie? Charlie Felix? Charlie, happy birthday. Can we shoot Charlie? Today's his birthday. He's 31 years old.
Plus 6.
Where's Charlie? There's Charlie. You're working hard, Charlie. That baby.
I can't see him from that angle. Maben swings and misses, and Morales will flip it to help. Great inning from Matt Reynolds. Reynolds ends up getting 4 outs in this appearance. Happy birthday, Charlie. 6-2 Rockies.
Time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Ty Wigginton roping that slider to left center field his last time up to drive in a run. He would eventually score in the Rockies' 5-run 6th inning. Rockies haven't hit it over the wall today. They haven't had to. They have 12 hits, 11 singles. And they bunched them together to produce 6 runs. Evan Scribner, who was in the ballgame yesterday out of Central Connecticut State, will pitch the bottom of the 8th inning for Bud Black's Padres.
Yeah, right-hander showed a pretty good fastball yesterday, over the top, up to 92 miles an hour with a nice slider to go with it. Part of things I like to see coming out of a bullpen. In 7 ball games he appeared in, pitched pretty well. 12 innings total pitched now. Struck out 8. The big thing they're looking at, just 2 walks in those 12 innings pitched.
Wigginton, Charlie Blackmon, and Jose Morales. This is fouled off.
You ever watch when they land, see how many people catch them? See, nobody caught that when they just let it hit and then they dive. Strongest hands, longest arms wins the battle.
Not the quickest.
Well, you can be the quickest and get it yanked away from you in a heartbeat.
1-2.
See, I got to watch that one. That one's right down here below us.
Nobody in the scout
Well,
row trying to catch it. You see that?
They all bailed. Well, it was up too far from them. Charlie Kerfoot would have had it in his hip pocket.
You almost hit Charlie with the Cracker Jack.
I did. They've been bad-mouthing me for 2 days. I couldn't get it down there, so I tried to nail him, and it landed right at his feet.
2-2. Well, Big Charlie was pretty intimidating when he took the hill late ball.
He had them goofy glasses he wore all the time. Those thick black things.
Yeah,
looked like Wild Thing on Major League. Threw hard.
Not one of the Hanson brothers.
He threw hard. Now works top of pitch. Right here's Charlie. Charlie's hiding right in there. There he is, right there. What'd you do to the screen, Drew? It's got it drawing all kinds of things.
You're not doing very well with that telescreen.
Oh, yeah, all right, watch
He's got
this.
the sunglasses on next to the
right
guy
there
with
he
the
is.
cow hat on. Big Charlie. 3-2. And this ball is loud and foul. It's going to be up on the concourse, maybe. Not just short of it.
Sammy, did you do that? You did, didn't you? You came over here and hit like the circle thing, the arrow thing, all those things, didn't you? I think we'll switch. Why don't you take this for a while, see if you can draw. Never mind. I've seen you draw. You're horrible.
Good at stick figures. Ground ball to short. Bartlett waiting. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. 2 people will become millionaires in the July 1st bonus millionaire raffle drawing. Buy your tickets today. Charlie Blackmon on a single up the middle to bring in a Rockies run in that big 6th inning. Blackmon's 1 for 3. Check it, 2 for 3. Charlie last night had a couple of hits. His first extra base hit in the big leagues. He had a double his first at bat last night. Now he's got to have his first 3-hit ball game.
Oh, it's going to happen. It is for me, I think. Charlie right now hitting .324, very young major league career, 2 for 3. He talked about that. The RBI, scored a run today.
That is going to be a base hit. Nice play by Gonzalez, but it's a 3-hit ball game for Blackmon.
That smile too, Charlie. That's kind of cool. Gets first 3-hit game here. Ball hit up the middle. dives for it. He said, man, I didn't make that play at Colorado Springs. I better get up the line. Exactly what he did, too. Gonzalez dives from the knee, makes the snap throw over. Charlie just a half a step out in front of this. See, I like that. Look at that. It looked like a sprinter looking for the finish line when he got to first base. He's not looking at it. He's not lunging. He's not diving.
Jose Morales at the dish. Jose's got a couple of knocks today.
Scored a run also.
He's going to spend some time in the ice tub after all as well, with the thumb and the forearm and the leg he got hit on, a foul tip. He's thrown a guy out. Rockies are 9-7 in ball games that Morales has started behind the plate. Pitch out, nothing on. Snap throw, safe. And catcher sometimes, George. Rob Johnson has been back there for a long time. It's a 4-run game. That's close.
That's really close. Well, the other
He's
thing
hot, and you know what? He wants to throw the baseball.
Well, he's given up 6 runs, called it out this year today too. 13 hits, 7 in 1 inning. But you don't see a lot of picks like that out in front with a left-handed batter up. You'll see him go behind. You don't see him step out front. That sometimes can work in the favor of a catcher because you just never see it. If you go in behind the other way, it's kind of a stretch shot, but they usually do that on the knee. The others drop the right knee and go, but he stepped way out in front of Morales' throw there.
2-0 on Jose.
And now that it's a 4-run ball game, obviously they're thinking that Charlie tried to get into scoring position. He was in the on-deck circle to pinch hit for Matt Reynolds.
Be interesting to see if Blackman does get the scoring position. If Giambi gets to swing the bat, you know, there goes Blackman. He steals it easy.
That's one for Charlie.
Rockies will be in Cleveland and New York next week. Get Giambi a couple of at-bats before he's out there on a regular basis. Five for 5, Charlie Blackman in the stolen base department. He has made his mark already. Very impressive rookie. There's Giambi. And it's 3-1 on Morales. Hey, Who Wants Tacos fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more runs for the Rockies Tacos special, text the keyword taco to 720-720. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. And of course, if the Rockies can get a base hit here, they'll have the magic number of 7. Cincinnati winning at Dodger Stadium today 7-2. They're in the 9th inning. Phils beat Florida 8-1, fouled off. Everything else is later on this evening. Switched up their coverage up the middle, George, because Morales goes to left so much. It's actually Alberto Gonzalez who's kind of bird dogging the runner at second, Blackman.
It really opens up that hole to the right side. If you happen to get a breaking ball inside, you go that way with it. Young pitcher on the mound. Pitch away, play away, see if he does that. Yeah, that time rolled that top hand pretty good.
Phillies and Marlins later, George. Pretty good pitching matchup. Roy Halladay at 9-3 against Anibal Sanchez at 6-1. That's pulled down the line foul. Giants leading Arizona by a game and a half. The Rockies by 6 in the West. Morales pack a toothbrush, George?
Who's packed? Who is pitching tonight for Arizona? Is that Kennedy?
No, it's Saunders. Joe Saunders against Madison Bumgarner.
Well, Madison Bumgarner ought to be about 8-2 right now instead of what he is.
He's 2-8 with a 3.23 ERA. The ERA doesn't match up with the record, does it?
Nope, kind of like Matt Latos. That all didn't match up either.
This ball's well hit center field. Maben will move back, make the catch. And that's the second out. EY is being called back, and the big man will get to hit. Here's something interesting. You know, the Dodgers, the Giants with that vaunted pitching staff, the Padres, they pitch in pitchers' ballparks, yet it's Yoeli Chacín coming into the ball game who had the lowest ERA among starters. Ian Kennedy's having a great year for the D-backs, and Chacín's ERA will go down a little bit more. And that's before the ball game. Yoeli's 3 outs away from his 8th victory this year. He's having an all-star first half. Here's Giambi. And the ERA has moved down to 2.81. Left field, Ludwig comes under control. And we'll go to the 9th inning. The Rockies 6 and the Padres 2. And no blackout dates. And by Jack in the Box. Right now, get the new bourbon barbecue steak grilled sandwich at participating restaurants. Welcome back to Coors Field. That's not Coors Field. That's the beautiful Rocky Mountains. Colorado leading San Diego 6-2. Tom Helmer has the Toyota postgame show immediately after the ball game. Tom.
Drew, how about rage against the Chacín? Hitter's frustrated. He has been pitching great. You showed that graphic just a few minutes ago about his low ERA. We'll talk about him on the Toyota postgame show. Also, we'll talk about putting on the hits. The Rockies, another strong offensive performance in this ball game. They're starting to string them together more consistently, and that's a good sign. And of course, as always, we'll get you down in the clubhouse and hear from the team. Drew?
All right, Tom, thank you. Rafael Betancourt will be looking to get the final 3 outs in this affair. Last 4 series between the Rockies and Padres, the visiting team has won the series. Rockies trying to end that trend. Padres have won 6 of their last 9 here at Coors Field. Numbers on Rafael.
Right, and again, gave up a run the other night. Wasn't very happy about leaving the ball game after that run, but he came in 1 inning, a couple of hits. He gave up a run. He did strike out 2, and all those damage came after there was 2 outs, 2 straight strikeouts. Coming in, closing out an inning here. We'll be beneficial, obviously. You'd like for him to go, but no more than 2 days without being in a ball game.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Colorado Rockies. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. Alberto Gonzalez will be the first to face Betancourt. Fine job by Matt Reynolds. He went an inning and a third. Did not allow a base runner. Struck out one. Chacin in line again for his 8th victory. Gonzalez a double in 3 trips. He scored the 2nd run for the Padres in the 7th. Yeah, this is a year where nobody's put up, ridiculous win total numbers like last year when at the break Jimenez had 15 wins. Cole Hamels and Roy Halladay have 9 victories entering play today. Halladay is on the mound, as we talked about later on. 1-1. And so if 3 outs are recorded here, Chacin will be in a group of 5 with 8 victories. Tommy Hanson, Giovanni Gallardo is having a great year. So is Jair Jurgens with Atlanta. And Kevin Correa with the Pirates has 8 wins.
Pirates at 500 baseball right now as they continue to play against the New York Mets. Excuse me, Houston Astros.
Let's take a look at the probables for the series with the Tigers. This is going to be fun. Good to see Detroit in town. Rick Porcello, former #1. He's 6-4. Phil Kokos will go on Saturday. Good ERA, bad record. And then a guy who could throw a no-hitter every time out if the circumstances fall in his favor. He's got filthy stuff. Justin Verlander. And for the Rockies, Hamill, Jimenez, and Cook. Johnny Herrera waiting. Out #1 in the 9th inning. We'll bring up Rob Johnson. Next week will be a big week for Rafael Betancourt, George, who spent so many years with the Cleveland Indians. Very good years. Rockies will be there on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Well, it's always good to go back into a town that you broke your career into. You might get a lot of friends around, the guys you hang out with. I don't know how many Indians are still there. He's been over here a couple of years now that were his teammates there, but you're going back into a city you're very familiar with and made friends with. Mr. Brad Hops in the on-deck circle. Hitting the pitcher spot.
There's a 1-strike delivery to Johnson, and this one may be playable for Helton. Then again, it may not. Two count on Rob Johnson. That's back your way, George. Make a play. Oh, man. You were ready. You were going to make a play.
I had it the whole way. Not really. Nor did I want anything to do with it.
See, it hit the...
Might have broke Sammy's deal up there. See, here it comes. It's going to hit right up here.
It hit right above there.
Yeah. Higher than I can reach. And I'm not catching it anyway. It doesn't matter. I caught enough already. I'm done.
No, you didn't. The infielders always caught him for you. Strike 3.
Came back to me.
Rob Johnson.
I don't need any more.
Two gone in the ninth inning. Brad Hopp will come up. Today's delivery of the game brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys.
Well, maybe it's not going to be Hopp now. Forsythe will come on to hit.
Yoli Chassin, terrific outing today. 6 innings. He allowed just the home run to Johnson. 3 hits. There were a lot of foul balls. That's why the pitch count got him after 6. He punched out 8, walked just 2.
You know, Brad Hopp battled a little bit of an elbow issue with his arm from making the move from first to the outfield. And it bothered him quite a bit. That's why he hadn't played this entire series. Well, he may come out to swing. Didn't feel right. Forsythe's your guy.
And Forsythe hits it fair down the third base line. Blackman will fire it back in. And Forsythe with a 2-out double. That'll bring up Denorfia, who's 1 for 4. Denorfia an RBI hit in the 7th inning. Just look at something up, George, with the Tigers coming in. We're talking about the batting average against for Yoli Chassin. 195, second best in the National League. The best in all of baseball, Justin Verlander. They're hitting just 185 against him. It's going to be fun to get into interleague play next week.
I'm looking forward to seeing Jimmy Leland and his staff. A lot of those guys been with him for a number of years, so we've got some friendships there that I'd like to be happy to say hi to. And a lot of people in Colorado may have been a little dissatisfied with Jimmy's exit. Off he went, took some time off, came back and managed. Check out and see how his son's doing. He was the 7th round pick of the Tigers 2 years ago.
Denorfia. One and two. Ready to throw wins for kids towels out the
let's go. Yeah,
one more strike. Not going to happen here. That's going to be a base hit and another run. 6-3. Now you had Houston Street firing because you have the tying run in the on deck circle, which is a save situation. Jason Bartlett at the plate. Denorfia 2 RBI afternoon.
Street's ready.
I hope the bullpen, George. Every pen's going to hit a rough patch. Hope that off day helps them out. To get back to throwing the baseball where the way they have been for most of the year.
Yeah, just watch, see if Jimmy was going to pop out of the dugout here in a safe situation now by 3 runs, 6-3. He has not yet. He's going to allow Betancourt to finish this inning up.
One ball, one strike. It's 3 straight ball games now that Rafael is allowed a run. In the air to deep right center field, but playable. Smith's got it, and the Rockies pocket another victory. They take 2 of 3 from the Padres. Yoli Chacin improves to 8-4. Taking the loss, Matt Latos. His record drops to 4-8. Rockies will enjoy a day off tomorrow. They'll get ready for the Tigers over the weekend. 4-3 now on this homestand. With the home run earlier today by Rob Johnson, a total of $19,000 has been raised for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge by calling 800-798-CURE or by going online to pcf.org. On a beautiful Wednesday afternoon at the ballpark, the Rockies have defeated the Padres 6-3. Stick around. The Toyota postgame shows.